we got an interesting episode today. I feel like every time we do one of these episodes, like depending on the topic, it leans towards one of us and our interests more than others. Today is a Donovan episode. Today is a day to hate a little bit. I don't know if we're going to use that word specifically, but that's what's going to happen because today we're talking about NBA players that are under the most pressure. Players that are going to be held accountable in the second half of the season, whose team is relying on them, whose reputation is relying on their play in these last 39 games or so. A lot to talk about.
This is for sure like it's a Michael Irvin episode. It's like we're staring at 10 players and we're asking them, what are you prepared to do? Right? That's what I want to know. And like as we get into playoff season, that's honestly how I look at the playoffs. It's just like, what are you prepared to do? Right? Like you got your whole season on the line.
I don't know. Over the next few days, the trade deadline is about a week away. We're going to see a lot of fake basketball going on. People playing their asses off just so they can remain in the city that they reside in right now as we speak. So
some players, yeah. some people on this list isn't about playoff basketball. Some of it is about keeping a job. So you're on the right track right there.
Just for the week, though.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna rank the top 10 players under the most pressure. I had them both send me a list of their top 10, and I compiled them into a like aggregate top 10 list. So I know the list, they don't. So we're kind of going in this partially blind. We're gonna get some reactions to who we think are under pressure, aren't. Maybe there'll be some disagreement, but 10 players in total. Yeah, man, let's jump into it.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my god.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters rejoice.
All right, how we're going to do this is, since we have 10 players, we're going to take turns picking one on each list. I'll go first at number 10, then Mo goes number 9, Donovan number 8, until we get to all 10.
Okay. Sounds
I'm going to start. Yeah, Stan, you know how it goes. Combined list, a little combined ranking. It's a little different than what we usually do.
It's all good.
Well, some slight. Number 10, I want to start off this list of players under the most pressure with Ja Morant.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if you guys remember. We talked about the Memphis Grizzlies a few weeks ago on our, I think it was a contenders tier list episode 2 weeks ago. And I was telling you guys that I'm not worried, but I'm noticing that it's not a particularly strong Ja Morant year. And to me, it's because they implemented this new offense that's extremely free-flowing. They run very few pick and rolls. It's very egalitarian, as we typically say with these type of teams. And in doing that, they made their floor a lot higher. They're a really good team. They're not relying on any player. Jaren Jackson is allowed to thrive and be the number one scorer. But it's really deep-powered what makes Ja Morant special. In previous years where his scoring was outrageous, running a lot of pick and rolls and really getting downhill with the ball in his hands, he's asked to do less of that, and I feel like he hasn't been super comfortable this year. And these past couple of games, he's had 2 straight games under 12 points, under 40% from the field. There's been a lot of discourse online from Memphis Grizzlies fans who are panicking about it, wondering if there's anything to be worried about. And again, I'm reiterating, I think it is something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead, Donovan.
It has to be. It's obviously something. Like it's not. It is. It's obviously something. It's not nothing. However you want to put it.
Yeah.
There's a thing that's happening, and I feel comfortable like projecting out and saying if we get into a playoff series, I still trust Ja to be able to reach like superpower, ability and be able to elevate his game to a certain level, because I do think that there's gonna get to a point where maybe they get past the first round. And across the 7-game series, once people start game planning, you might look up and be like, hey, game 1, we got blown out. Like this game against the Knicks, everything that the Grizzlies do well, the Knicks were able to handle because of their style of play as well. And so if this was game 1 of a series, Taylor Jenkins might go to the drawing board and be like, okay, maybe we should probably start dialing up a couple more things Ja-centered, because I don't necessarily want Jalen Wells to be a big part of today's offense. I don't necessarily want to rely on, all the other role players. We're going to make sure that the ball is in our star's hand. But if you give somebody that kind of, benefit of the doubt, that's where the pressure comes from. It's like, listen, we're not going to say anything for 8 months because we trust you. But also, it's been 2 years since we've seen you in the playoffs. You're in this new situation. You are not looking too comfortable. So I'm going to let you rock right now. April comes around, you got to turn up.
Yeah. It's again, they play very differently, and it's not impossible for him to thrive in the situation. Like the way this team is set up is essentially just prioritizing drivers on the court. Santi Aldama is better as a driver these days. Desmond Bane is a lot better as a driver these days. Jalen Wells can attack a closeout. Jaren Jackson has made a fucking career year off of attacking closeouts and using his size to attack the rim and keep the ball moving. That's what they want to do 1 through 5, essentially, besides when like Zach Edey's out there. That in theory fits John Morant. He can get downhill. He doesn't have to be a guy that gets a screen, probes. He's not Luka Doncic, one to play that slow and play his own very specific style of play. But nevertheless, while that makes sense in theory, he clearly is not comfortable. He's currently at a 49% true shooting on pick and roll ball handler attempts and a 51% true shooting on isolation.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Not great at all.
It's hard for Ja because not only did he miss basically the entirety of last season, and he basically missed also on top of that too, half of the year already too. So there's like so much adjustment going on. And on top of like him just being out too, he has to sit down and consistently reiterate himself into this new offense, which is just hard. It's so hard to like navigate your way through these things and being asked to like hold yourself back from a certain play style that he's used to. People in his corner probably tell him, hey bro, you shouldn't be dunking like that. Him saying out loud in public, yeah, I'm not going to be dunking like that, and just clearly lying and feeding into those ways.
Lying's a funny word to use because I don't think he was lying. I think just he got on the court and the eye of the tiger took over, and he's like, I don't want to dunk, but I see Wemby and I got to do it.
It's that Green Goblin mask, bro. He sees the lane open. He's like, I got to do it. I have no choice. I just got to try it. It's an addiction. I don't blame him for it because it's fun as hell to see. But there's so many things going on with this team. Before Ja, I almost would look at like this team overall and just feel like, yo, you guys have so much shit going on. Make everyone's life easier. All these depth and all these moving pieces, like fuck the egalitarian shit just a little bit and lean towards your superpower, lean towards what makes you great. NBA championship teams are made off of just pure greatness and not necessarily like strength and overall team. Like you always need someone to be that guy and empower Ja, consolidate your depth a little bit. That's what I'd like to see. But even then, like without that too, I need to see Ja and his efficiency go.
Yeah. Like part of it, you said there's a lot of things going on with the team. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm not over here saying I think Ja's washed. I'm lowering Ja down my player rankings because I think he's done, whatever. It's not that, because there's so many factors at play. Like you said, you're away from the game for a long time. Your 3-point shooting is not strong, so you don't have a strong like off-ball floor there with how you can play without the stuff necessarily revolving around you. And he's only playing 28 minutes per game, because clearly they understand he's injury prone. They don't want to put too much pressure on him, too much pressure on Jaren, anybody. They want to play with that strength and number style, at least in the regular season. So that's also why his numbers are down a little bit. Probably contributes to even less of a rhythm because you're not playing as many minutes to build that up. Lots of things going on. And the point of this list is not who's being bad, it's who's under pressure, right? And there's a lot, for the reasons you said, you need, if you're going to have a final ceiling, you need some superstar moments. You need a guy to carry you in the late game situations. Maybe that's Jaren now. We'll see. Even as great as Jaren has been, he's not a ball handler per se. So you can't necessarily rely on him and like 30 seconds left in the game. We got to go out and get a bucket. That's not really what you want to be feeding Jaren touch-wise. Meanwhile, John Morant is fantastic at blowing by his guy and getting to a spot in the biggest moments. And if he's not going to be playing at the peak version of himself, that severely limits their ceiling.
Yeah, just you can go ahead and you could say it in a much more like clear way. He's on the precipice of getting his chain snatched on his own team. you know, like Ja.
I mean, it's been snatched.
By Zach Edey?
By anybody. I think that everything that we've talked about from this offense is very true in that you're kind of trying to make your offense Ja-proof because you don't know if Ja is going to be available. You go back and you look at the last time that they made like a serious run and, you know, they lose to the Warriors in the second round. Part of the reason, now they had the Warriors on the ropes, but part of the reason why they weren't able to do that is because why? Ja ended up getting hurt towards the end of that series. And you're like, oh man, like it kind of, you know, everything kind of goes, you know, up in the air where if you don't have Ja Morant for a game, and obviously every game in a series is extremely crucial, especially out west where everyone's kind of, you know, near each other. you're gonna have to be able to thrust yourself into that mode. And so for the Grizzlies, I do think that there's a part of how they're operating this year that makes sense. But also, you're talking about, oh, we're gonna turn to Jaren Jackson Jr. to be, our guy. Obviously, I don't think that would happen. I do think that the instinct would still be, all right, let's get the ball like in Ja's hands, and he is obviously going to be priority number one. But there's stuff on this team where you might be comfortable in some situations with the leaps that Jaren has taken. Also, just on a macro scale, 2 years ago, because before everything, 2 years ago, Ja Morant was the guy. Ja Morant was next up. Everything that we were talking about with Anthony Edwards last year, that was Ja Morant 2 years ago, where he is, the new young superstar. All the kids love him. His shoe was selling out the best. He's on that leap, and then you have a year and a half of injuries and off the court stuff. Now this is going to be your first time in front of the national on the national stage in 2 years. Once again, what are you prepared to do? You have to you have an opportunity to go out and restake your claim and restake the Grizzlies as a legitimate championship contender as long as you are there. And again, a lot of it resides on your performance. You're gonna play more than 28 minutes a night in the playoffs. You are expected to play 5 games in a series, right? At least you are expected to lead your team in championship moments and clutch situations. All that is on the table for Ja Morant, and he 100% has to step up to a lot of it.
Yeah, man.
It's hard for him, though. It's hard. It's so hard because something that a lot of people, I don't want to say forget about or just maybe we just like gloss over sometimes, but he's always been like a flawed offensive player because of the lack of spacing that he provides. He's not the greatest shooter this year. I think he's shooting like 29-30% from three. And even before that too, he's always had like lack of an in-between game, and that in-between game looks even scarier now because he's not getting off his floater as much as he nearly used to. Because again, offense changed. You're not going to see as many pick and rolls. Steven Adams is not there by your side. Zach Edey's not like setting them screens anymore because Zach Edey's not even getting an opportunity to send screens like that because he's limited to playing time. So it's like,
it's not what they asked him to do.
How can he operate to his fullest capacity, especially when he has holes in his game that's already holding him back as a player naturally? That's tough.
42% on floater range this year, down from 47 last year.
But don't you think that that's also a little bit of pressure of like, that's the next step that you have to take? Like you're going to have to learn how to play multiple ways. Like nobody plays one style of basketball for, obviously like you have your tendencies and stuff like that, but the team in which you play for does not stay the exact same for 10, 15 years. You obviously have to learn how to play different styles. And so I think for Ja, like,
exactly.
Doing that and coming along as the season goes, that is asked of him, especially for a guy that a lot of people have, top 15, top 12 at his best, right? Like that's something that is reasonably expected of him.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that maybe we did our player rankings. I think I put him in like 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because what we saw him before he was injured and came back, we were like 20 games this season. We said we'll give him benefit of the doubt, right? He's just playing less minutes, but he's still
please don't tell me I'm thinking what you want to do.
I think maybe when he was at his best and they're playing through him as a pick and roll player, the gravity he created, we all value that extremely, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're not going to be playing through that with that being your main source of offense, which maybe you shouldn't do that if you're the Grizzlies because you know how volatile his availability is. Maybe you should build for a floor without him. Right now, the offensive rating is almost exactly the same with or without him on the court, which is by design. You don't want to be reliant on him because they know he's prone to missing time for different reasons, right? And if that's going to be the way you're asked to be deployed, maybe it just makes your strength less valuable. And maybe we just shouldn't hold him that standard anymore. Maybe he is a little bit lower tier of a player than we once thought.
This is such an interesting conversation in terms of like team building and construction.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how would you, if you know that at his best, Ja Morant can be like a top 10 player at his absolute best, do you want to build a team to optimize that version and say like, throughout the history of the league, we're only going, like you only win championships if you have a guy who's playing at an all-time level, a top 10 player. There's only been so many instances of teams that are very egalitarian across the league. Mm-hmm. But are we even going to be in position to get there if we're relying on John, he's not necessarily there. And
I don't
we
think
have to build
so.
from the floor.
I don't think he even John Morant was given credit as being like the 11th, 12th, 13th best player in the league because of what he did, not necessarily because he has a skill sets that scream top 10 player to me. Like he just produced, so you had to give him the credit, right? But I don't think he has like he doesn't have like a top 5 player ceiling because he doesn't have that go-to scoring ability, doesn't have the insanely high. Well, actually, he's a very good passer, but he doesn't have the top take over a game type of ceiling, I think. So I think if you're building your team around like we want John Morant to go sicko mode in a playoff series, that's not a particularly high ceiling compared to some other guys. Like Shai can do that because Shai is a tier higher as a scorer in just about every regard because he has in between game. I don't think Ja has that ceiling as a scorer. And at one point we gave him that credit because he was so young, but I think now we kind of know that he's just not quite that,
Yeah, his scoring at the paint a couple of years ago was absolutely ridiculous. I think he was top 3 or 4. He was top 5 a couple of years ago, and
66% in 2022, 59% right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that right there made us look and feel like and believe like, yo, this dude could actually be the face of a championship team. But now looking back at it, like you said, Isaac, maybe that is kind of blurred because he lacks in between game, and players who have had success in his mold, someone like Shai, whoever else you can think of who's just like such in the rim centric. I guess the next championship guard you can think of like that is, I don't know, Dwayne Wade or something like that. They have an in between game. They have shit to show for whenever shit gets rough. They play tremendous defense, and Ja's like the furthest thing from that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he fell off or anything, but
I mean,
maybe
you kind of are.
It's a I think we just need to recalibrate because we thought about him in a certain way when he was so young, and the progression just didn't keep going. And this is one of the instances.
But there's clear reasons why the progression maybe has not maybe it was more on pause rather than just didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And I'm just saying that nobody is immune to biases, and sometimes, especially when a player misses time, it takes a while for you to get the image of what you once thought out of your head. And the year after 2022, when he was his most efficient, he was slightly less efficient, 62% at the rim, missed some time, only started 59 games that year. So we could be like, okay, he dealt with injuries, blah, blah, blah. Next year is completely wiped because of suspension and injury. So we don't think about anything. Then he comes back this year. And the last time we saw him fully healthy, fully who he was 2022 now. So we still have that in our head. Now we have 2.5 years that were interrupted, but now it's more time with him being not quite as high as we wanted to push him up versus when he was, Like it takes a while for those things to really click your head sometimes.
So right now, do you definitively think that he is a worse player just like overall right now? No,
I wouldn't say that. I don't think I ever did. I say any? Is that what you took away from what I said?
I think a little bit, just because like if we're going in right now saying that like we have to recalibrate our expectations, then I think you only do that
almost.
For guys. I think you only recalibrate your expectations for guys that you think are like worse.
What I'm saying is we need to recalibrate how much we value what he does well and how much that can transcend to a top tier contender. We gave him credit as being 11th to 12th when we did our rankings a couple years ago because the team just continued to produce and so. But now I think we see enough time and sample size and the way the team's choosing to deploy him, plus how he looks when he has a cold streak like it is now, that maybe the floor and the ceiling aren't as valuable as you once thought. The skills are probably the same, but I think the value of those skills, I think we have to reconsider.
Yeah.
I don't know. This whole I think like the Grizzlies are just an interesting case study for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they are.
And so like we'll see. And here we are, 25 minutes into the episode or whatever, and we smile on the Grizzlies. But I do think that there's a lot to take from it, because on like the team construction side, and then if you're looking at Ja, like I still think that being a downhill demon, like I think that all of the credit that he deserved, I don't necessarily think that it was projecting. Ja Morant was scoring 40 points in playoff games, right?
It's not projecting.
He was closing out playoff games. He was taking over games. We've seen him do all of this stuff. So it's not anything of like, oh yeah, whenever he gets 2-3 years down the line, he's going to be this player. Ja Morant was already at a level that was really, really high. And I think that because of all the outside stuff, that's probably hurt him more than anything, because now the team has to look at him and be like, okay, well, you're just not reliable. So we can't. Yeah. So we can't build around you the way that we want to. And as like in return, it's made him worse because he's not as prioritized in the offense.
Fair enough. But you're right, though. He earned it was what I meant. Like, I never viewed him as a guy that prototypically makes sense to be a top 10 player, right? Mm-hmm. He's not a good defender. He's a very good, not top of the world passer, never a good shooter, never hyper efficient, but he just earned that right for what you said. He had these big games. He took them to wins when he was on the court. He had just said, like, it was undeniable that he just produced, so you had to give him that credit. When that's not happening and the skills may be the same, but they don't have the same outcome for all the reasons you said, that's where I'm starting to think, okay, maybe I was overreacting to whatever stimuli.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what really shows or screams through this to me is how Ja has to be, in order for him to be successful, like the situation has to be picture perfect. I can go back to, I don't know, you could use Shai as an example or whatever. Like, Shai was still doing Shai things before Chet hopped onto OKC and like the whole dynamic of the team really shifted and they like splurged up to a 50-55 win team. Before that, he was still giving you like 25, 27 or whatever he was averaging per game, still playing his normal game. But once Chet went there, things just like elevated. And over there in Memphis, play style changed again still. But because of certain things, the dynamics of Ja's game and how he's not able to benefit from the landscape or the atmosphere shifting, he just naturally regresses. And I think because I see this regression, I don't see him as necessarily worse. I think my expectations like should be dimmed down a little bit compared to what they were.
And again, he could turn up and this could all change. The point of this video is the pressure is there now for him to decide which way we're going. We're on the line right now. What?
I just got a great idea.
What'd you get?
I know how to alleviate every single Memphis Grizzlies fan's pressure from John Moran wanting to see him be great.
Tell me.
You guys have all your first round picks. I got some people. I know people. I know people who are at home and close to heart. I have one DeAndre Hunter for you.
Oh my God.
Give me a pick or two and then I will change your goddamn life. I will change your life.
If John Morant plays better, he has an opportunity to prove what we're saying right now isn't definitive. He's washed or he's not worth building around. We're noticing patterns. He has the pressure now to say which way he's going to go. We're on the line. We're on the fence right now saying we don't know for sure. Let's see how he proves it the rest of the year.
Thanks.
All right. That's number 10.
Who's the next player?
We can roll.
Oh, wait, real quick. Chat. We're not streaming. I said chat. Viewers.
Tuesdays.
I'm going to give you guys a little peek behind the curtain. Mo and Donovan have these new mics they're using right now. I'm using this old mic looking like a broke boy compared to them. My mic just got delivered, so I'm going to go get it real quick.
Oh, you are? Okay. Mic just dropped.
All right, guys. I'm back. I got the mic fixed. I hope it sounds a little bit better. Mo, who is number 9 on your list?
Seamless transition. Number 9 on the list has to be, again, another point guard in Trae Young. It's not about Trae necessarily. It is, but also at the same time, it's not. It's about fucking the state of our team. We are in absolute hell right now. We just lost our second best player in Jalen Johnson, and we have been a do or die team based on if he plays or not. And over these last 5 games, I believe we're on a 5-game losing streak. Big whoop, who cares? What really sucks is that he is out for the entirety of the season with a shoulder injury, right after Jalen Johnson just came back from, I believe, his left shoulder being, sore, tore up a little bit. His right shoulder got completely disintegrated the other night when we faced off against the Toronto Raptors. And he's out for the entirety of the season. That sucks. That hurts so much because we were on pace to, usual Atlanta Hawks 41 games.
Let's go.
Season, And now, with that being said, we might not reach that moment. We might not reach that mark. And if that happens, then that means that the season again, it's needless to say, it's going to go to complete waste. But I want to see Trae Young continuously thrive and find his rhythm, find his way back, so the San Antonio Spurs don't get an absolute steal killer of a lottery pick. We're just fighting for our pride at this moment in time, and we want to see Trae Young get back to taking 22, 23 shots a game. I need to see that floater keep falling because right now he has no help on this team. Antetokounmpo is probably our second best offensive player outside of like DeAndre Hunter who comes off the bench. There's Zachary Richardson. Like this team is literally fighting for its life, and we're back to this is like the worst team that Trae Young has ever played with right now. Like
there's no way Onyeka is the second best offensive player
in the starting lineup. Yes, Indy.
God
Well, actually,
forbid.
no. There's Dyson Daniels. I'm discrediting Dyson.
Oh,
Onyeka's right there, bro.
God.
I know. It's so bad.
Dyson and Onyeka is the debate. Oh Lord,
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, I think you're downplaying this a little bit. So obviously, Jalen Johnson, he has one of the biggest net rating swings in the NBA right now. They're 12.4 points better with him on the court. They need him for all the reasons you said. Because outside of that, the players we're talking about being the other good offensive players, it's so bleak that Jalen and Trae are the only good creators there, right?
Yeah.
This team is legendary mid. We've been talking about this since the show's inception. The quest for 41 wins is undefeated. They get that crown every single year. At what point, like, they're going nowhere fast. And I know we spent the first half of this year being really excited because we see the formula start to build around Trae, right? The wings plus Trae creating good defense. They're at one point, they were the 5 seed. Even at its best, when things are going well and we see a vision, they're still mid. Now they're going to have another year lost where they're probably going to give a good pick to the Spurs because they can't be good even if they want to try real hard. They're probably going to be sellers, it sounds like. Bogdan is on the move out. Where can this front office stomach another shitty outcome to a year? Like, at what point are they going to look in the mirror and start to say, like, what is the point of this Trae Young quasi rebuild? Like, at what point are we going to be good again?
It was just 1 year. They went through the whole DeJounte Murray era and then traded him. And now you had half a season of Trae and Jalen Johnson and the quasi rebuild. And listen, you should have did this 2 years ago, right? You should have never traded for DeJounte Murray. But we're here now. I think if Trae Young continues to play at the level that he is right now, then you go into the offseason and you say, okay, maybe we should tear it all the way down. I think, I kind of agree that Trae Young is under a lot of pressure right now because I just want to see Trae Young. I need to see if it's still in there. I need to see if Trae Young can still go out and score 40. I don't care about wins for the rest of the season because obviously you guys are not going to be good. I don't care about team chemistry. I slightly care about Shai's development. I want Trae Young to be on LaMelo Ball timing. I want you to take as many shots as possible. I want you to score as many points as possible. I want you to feel as comfortable and as empowered as you've ever been in an Atlanta Hawks jersey because, once again, Jalen Johnson being there, very, very critical. This only works. We are only going to move forward if you can combine Jalen Johnson productivity with elite Trae Young productivity. And I would like to feel good about a healthy Jalen Johnson and a healthy Trae Young going into next year.
Even that.
Even listen, if you get I've told you, they are mid, right? You guys, obviously the formula feels good and you think about it and you could see the vision. But
the formula feels okay. It feels fine. It doesn't even feel good. It feels okay.
What do you want me to tell you? I'm not even trying to be mean. Mo, I'm telling you, they should have they need to trade Trae away because the fate of this franchise right now is just a mid franchise. And you don't the ceiling is not very high.
But what makes this worse is that we're worse than mid now for the first time in years.
Yeah, they're trash.
That right there was so unexpected. I was expecting us to be mid, but you said something last year we got a half a season of Jalen Johnson. We see this experiment, and now we get another half. Cool, a full year in 2 years, bro. That absolutely sucks balls. So right now, as an Atlanta Hawks fan, I'm seeing this and I'm just like, fuck, bro. A lot of pressure is on Trae Young. Again, this is a Trae Young conversation because he is the only person who can save us from looking like an absolutely embarrassing product, even though we kind of
It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah, I think right now they're holding on to life with Trae Young because you're a small market team, right? You don't want to trade one of the best players you've ever had.
Small market? It's Atlanta.
Atlanta's not a big market team for the NBA. It's the same conversation we have in Houston. It's a big market in real life, but for NBA context, it's not a big NBA market per se, you know? They don't move like a big market. They do not move like a big market.
Fun fact. You'll see Donovan defending Atlanta. He grew up in Atlanta for a couple years in his life. Y'all know that? Chat. Y'all know that?
Listen, I need real question. Do you consider Smyrna? I was outside. Is Smyrna Atlanta?
This is a stupid ass conversation. Technically, it's not. It's not.
Nevertheless, this team
that's where I was.
is not the type of team that wants to rebuild through free agency or anything. So they don't want to get rid of Trae Young. But even if things go well, like we saw the first half of this year, your ceiling isn't high, holding on to life with the Trae Young-led group. If there's a world where the season goes terribly, Trae Young doesn't look good, he's not happy, you're not happy. If San Antonio wants him, they'll give you your 2025 pick back, and you can get another top 10 pick in the door and just kind of restart around Reese Shea, Jalen Johnson, another top 10 pick, Onyeka, and just kind of restart your timeline, because the timeline around the star you have, which I know the goal is to get stars, this one isn't leading you anywhere as currently constructed. There's a lot of pressure, because if things don't go well, I think it'll make sense to rip the Band-Aid off.
I can see that, and I'm not gonna. As much as I love Trae Young, and as much as I like hold near and dear all the great moments that he's provided to my life as a Atlanta basketball homer, which is not a lot of good moments in general. It would suck to see that happen, but it's almost looks like we're starting to see the turn of a new page, because holy fuck, Clint Capella just got benched, and wow, like Bogdan Bogdanovic is away from the team. We're starting to see like a new page shift, and it seems like they're getting ready to like look themselves in the mirror and admit that they fucked up bad multiple times, time in and time out. They continuously did nothing but fuck ups. In the first good offseason, like real strong offseason that you had, they maybe only have two good off seasons in the entire 8-year span or 7-year span at Trae Young's career, which is damning. You've only made a handful of good moves. Look at yourself.
Yeah, they're on a good path, and it doesn't work sometimes.
Start to unload all these picks. Look at DeAndre Hunter. This is the best that he's ever been in his entire career. Unload that. Bogdan, he's iffy, but in general still has good value around the league because of his contract and his natural ability to just shoot the ball. Clint Capella is a serviceable big. If we were smart, we would look at this team, turn the page. But if we wanted to stay 10 toes down and continue this war of midgets,
just run it back.
Guys say, Trae Young, please save me. Trae Young, save us. Trae Young, please save us.
What could they even do this summer? What could they possibly do this summer to get better? What's the possible way to get out of mid? Just hope that Jalen makes another star leap? That Dyson Daniels becomes a good offensive player? Like, there's no path forward that is anything other than being maybe the 5 seed.
There's two things that you said. There's getting out of mid and being better. Those two things is like combining happening this offseason. That's not happening. There's no way you are taking a positive step forward. You can either the only thing that you can do is just get out of mid and that's tear it all down. That's why the more that we talk about it, it's not even Trae Young that's under pressure. It's Landry Fields. What do you want to do? Like what is the overall vision for this team? And he's
ruined my life.
If we had a serious conversation and you gave Landry Fields some True Serum and you ask him what the ceiling and you ask him what the ceiling of this team is, if he does not say championship, if he does not even say Eastern Conference Finals, then okay, we blow it up and we tear it all down, and now we have to keep moving forward. But the Hawks have tricked themselves since 2021, since that run, which obviously shout out to the Hawks for making it to the conference finals. You have to beat who is in front of you, and they won the games. They got to the conference finals. That year was a little bit fluky in terms of the overall outcome, and they doubled down on it by trying to get DeJounte Murray. Any type of success that you were going to have, you jacked it up for several years, and now you're in this position trying to tear it all down without tearing it all down. You have to commit to something, and you have to have an actual vision. You have a number 1 pick on your roster. Obviously, not the best number 1 pick that you would want, but you have to work to develop him. And what you are doing right now is just hey, everybody's just going to come out here, score 10 points a game. We're going to win, we're going to win 41 games in a season, and we're going to be the 9th seed.
I'd feel so much better about their future if they picked Alex Sarr, man. If they pick somebody who I can envision being maybe not an all-star, but a very above average starter, which maybe Zach can be that too. I'm not saying he's cooked. He's a rookie, but if they pick somebody with at least a ceiling, it would be so much more palatable to restart around Jalen Johnson, a really promising young player that has a world where they can be really good, close to all-star level, and then whatever you can get, if you can get your picks back from San Antonio or whatever other pick package you can get, that would be so much more enticing.
Yeah, and I'm not normally a tanking guy, but I would tear it all down to
we tell teams to blow up all the time. You're not a tanking guy now?
No, listen, there's a difference, but I just the general idea of tanking and being bad for several years. And I kind of told you guys this on the hot takes when we were talking about the Bulls and their strategy. But for Atlanta, I would get like disgusting levels of tank going.
Wow, disgusting
Like,
levels of tank.
Well, if you want to do that, you got to trade Jalen Johnson too. That's a full teardown.
That's
Which
that's
low key.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm
That's a
talking
lot of
about right now.
picks.
That's what I'm talking about right now. If I'm the Atlanta Hawks, I'm trading Trae Young and I'm trading Jalen Johnson, and we are
Yo, what could you get for Jalen Johnson? That'd
we
be
are tearing this
haul.
down to
Jalen
these
Johnson
studs.
is an insane. He's so valuable because he's like the defense he provides. He's improved at the score, the fucking.
I might trade
rebounding,
Ricochet.
and then the fucking. Shut up! Get out of here!
what?
The passing.
Well,
What are you
hold
gonna
on.
get for Zachary Ricochet, bro?
If you are, what team would this make sense for? If you are
Any team,
the Sacramento Kings, if you're the Sacramento Kings next year and you have the 13th pick in the draft, would you trade the 13th pick in the draft for Zachary Ricochet?
What are we even talking about right now, bro? This is supposed to be about Trae Young and the first shot in his
Is
hand.
he even a lottery pick?
Oh
in
my
another
God.
draft?
Oh my.
That's very funny.
Donovan, what is it? Number 8. What is number 8 on our list? God damn, let's move on
That
from this
is-
conversation.
that is very,
so
very
embarrassing.
funny.
You see, Landry Fields, I'm embarrassed on my own fucking show. Holy shit.
I don't know if they would.
Ah,
Yeah, it might not be the best thing.
Who's
right.
next, Donovan?
Number 8. Also, we gotta speed this up. We're like an hour in. We're 2 teams through. Well, all right. So number 8, Tyrese Haliburton.
Okay, 3 point guards in a row. Tell me about it.
Yes. It's kind of simple about Tyrese. He had a lot of pressure on him coming into the season because of, obviously he had the drop off from, first half of the season. Tyrese Haliburton, super efficient. His superstar free trial was going. It looked amazing, all that stuff. And then it started to get real shaky. And he came out at the start of this season, still started to look shaky. There was a period where the Pacers were like, it looked very, very lost. However, they are trending upwards. Tyrese Haliburton has played pretty well. And I think that the stuff that we were talking about with John Morant is kind of where we're at with Tyrese Haliburton, where we have recalibrated our expectations. We may not believe that Tyrese is going to be the third best point guard in the league, and he's not going to be this 26 and 13, super high efficiency guy. But what he's giving you right now is still really, really good.
Yeah.
The pressure
Last 20
on
games.
Yeah. Talk to
Last
me.
19 games, 18.7 points, 9 assists, which is not that different from his season standards, right? But it's a lot more efficient. 49% from the field, 40% from 3. Only 1.6 turnovers, so still the great ratio. We're not getting that classic, what we thought we were getting last year, Tyrese Haliburton with a crazy scoring boost. I don't even think they want him to anymore. I think they just went away from that style completely. They're putting the ball in Siakam's hands more. Nembhard, Mathurin, everyone's getting more touches. But as long as he can be efficient and can be the essentially game manager that we thought he was before that initial leap that kind of fooled us, that's still a player that can take this team far. Because early in the season, he wasn't game managing the game well, wasn't shooting well, wasn't scoring well, nothing was going well. Now he looks like 2022, 2023 Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah, and there's two things that when I look at Tyrese that the quote unquote pressure is on, and one of them is if Tyrese is playing at this level, the Pacers are now in position to go out and acquire a second star, and you would feel good about where they are moving forward, because then you would actually say, okay, you have Tyrese Haliburton doing X, Y, and Z. You have another second star on top of Siakam, or if you have to move Siakam, whatever.
Yeah, is
But,
Siakam a second star? What do you
He's
mean
supposed to
acquire a
be.
second star?
Though, so
I'm
I will
saying,
say, I will say this: things have changed
Star,
and shifted. Like Tyrese Haliburton was supposed to be the second star or star. He's supposed to be Pascal Siakam was supposed to be the Robin, and now it's looking like Tyrese Haliburton in choice is like the Robin to Pascal Siakam's Batman in this entirety of the season.
Exactly.
So now it's looking like you need another guy. If that's
You need a real Batman. We can't have two Robins, running around. So
Yeah, I think
so
they're kind of okay though. I don't think they're really real. I know what you're saying. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they had whoever it may be, Star Wing X. I don't think they're really in that position to be trying to do that. I think they're trying to, they're the Pacers. We know their MO, right? They're just going to be the best team they can, sell seats, be a business, be competitive basketball every year. So they're not going to be out here trying to get Kevin Durant or anything crazy. What I'm interested is, apparently they don't want Trey Miles Turner, right? And there's trade rumors because they don't want to give him the $30 million he wants. How does a Tyrese Haliburton playoff run kind of factor into that for you? Because if he's really good and there's a ceiling here, maybe they do want to pay him and they keep the team together. But if he's not really good and they're like, this team isn't worth going to the luxury tax for at all, that kind of makes the Miles Turner thing complicated, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I think going out and acquiring the second star is, or acquiring the Batman is actually very, very crucial, because I think that if Tyrese can have a good playoff run, he shows that he's improved on some of the issues that he showed last year in the playoffs. Then it's like, first of all, we can get rid of Miles Turner. They've been trying to get rid of Miles Turner for 8 years. We can finally.
I just read that they're actually not trying to trade him from Mark Stein.
God, oh my goodness!
No, what they said was
get him
that
off
they're
the
not going
team.
to trade him because people are theorizing that they're willing to just fucking give him away, which is ridiculous. They're a team that's trying to win games. They're in the playoff run. They're not going to trade him unless they get a starting center back, which is the report. And that's not going to happen because there's no team out there that has a starting center that just wants to upgrade to Miles Turner for some reason. You know, like everyone's get him to the Lakers, get him to the Suns, whatever. Unless it's going to be a 3-team deal and they get like Jakob Poeltl or something, which I don't even think that would move him.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to get moved, at least not right now.
It just doesn't seem possible for them right now. I think looking at this team, I would agree with you, Donovan. Like Tyrese Haliburton probably does have the most pressure on him because there is no real pathway for them to go ahead and get a Batman unless they did some batshit, some like insane shit and like got KD or whatever. Like Tyrese Haliburton still has to be that. I think his ceiling still is that. We literally saw it last year. Pascal Siakam, as great as he is, he's never going to lead your team to an NBA championship. So like the whole fate of this Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Haliburton era rests on like, yo, Tyrese Haliburton, we know you're good. We made this move because we know you're good. You can be great. Can you like continuously be that? If not, then there's only so many Batmans this league has to offer. There's only so many Batmans that come across. So like all the pressure's on him, and it's going to continuously be on him to see if he can reach that next step.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just interesting to think that like we just need to fully wipe that idea out of our minds of what he was early last year and just think about what he was before that, which was still a very promising player. We were still like, you know, top 10 point guard. He's getting those conversations. It's still someone who we were like, should the Kings pick De'Aaron Fox over him? I don't know. That's kind of tough decision. That player is still there, just not the holy fuck, is he better than Ja? Like that's not there anymore, which is still an interesting place to build a team off of.
Yeah, I think like the Pacers are by choice always, like you said, by choice they're always trying to be in that middle ground. But I do think that there are certain points where even those types of teams will feel okay going into the luxury tax if they want to make a push for a couple of years. And
Not the Pacers. They've never done it.
Fair.
They won't do it, I promise.
Fair.
Not the Pacers.
Listen, that's fair.
I'm with you, but they're the Pacers. It's not going to happen in Indiana.
That's true. Broke boys, you can't take it out of them. So I understand.
It is what it is. Not everybody's in New York or Atlanta, since apparently that's a big market NBA city too.
I mean, it's bigger than Indy.
It's bigger than Indy for sure.
Fucking
Okay.
everything's damn near bigger than Indy.
I like the theme so far is we're kind of like under pressure because players that have kind of disappointed us and recalibrating expectations. That's kind of the theme so far of these first 3 names of like, let's adjust to the reality of who these players are, and they have pressure to prove that either way. This next player is not like that at all. For number 7 on this list, I'm going Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yep.
Pressure.
That makes sense.
On
That makes
Shai?
sense.
The
There's an immense
runaway
amount of
number
pressure.
1 seed? How so?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has reached a point that every all-time great reaches at some point in their career. They make the leap. They go from frisky young player to, oh, he's an all-star. Oh, he might be better than these other all-stars, to, oh, no, this is a top 5 player in the world, one of the best players of all time. We can compare this peak season to all-time great level seasons. People are saying, like, it's these 4 legendary shooting guards, then Shai maybe. Like, he's reaching combos that are next level. And when that happens, and when your team is really good and you have expectations, you're commonly talked about as maybe the championship favorites over the reigning champ Boston Celtics, you have immense pressure in the playoffs. He has to come out. He has all the pressure in the world on him to prove he is on this all-time great trajectory, prove he is better than Luka, like his fans were saying, prove he is a top 2 player in the world, prove that the best team in the NBA is the Oklahoma City Thunder, prove that he's not going to be Joel Embiid, James Harden of his era, that he can come out and prove it at the highest level. And even if it's not something that like the downside is as big as something like Trae Young, where he might get traded or whatever. The downside is he's going to be slandered all fucking summer long if he doesn't have a super strong playoff showing. And that's a lot of pressure. Players are online, especially Shai. That man's on Instagram every day. I guarantee you who'd see it.
He said that man's on Instagram every day. Okay. I can see a world in which that's a thing, because this team is also, speaking of pressure, like it's Shai reliant like a motherfucker. He has a bad game or off game.
Precisely.
Or if he doesn't score like an efficient 31, 33 points per game, you're cooked. We saw just last night, he put up like 50, 51 or something like that against the Golden State Warriors. Still fucking lost because outside of J-Dub, no one else could get a couple buckets for you. Quality buckets for you.
Outside of the top three guys, outside of Shai, J-Dub, and Isaiah Joe last night, the rest of the role players were 0 for 17 from 3. This team's offense lives and dies by Shai and J-Dub. J-Dub has turned his body into a brick tank. He's one of the best defenders in the world, and because of that, he is not a reliable creator offensively anymore. So when I say it lives and dies by Shai and J-Dub, I mean it lives and dies by Shai. All the pressure in the world offensively is on his shoulders. Even outside of the narrative standpoint, the team is built to put pressure on him because they know he can handle it. That's the entire mode of team building. Is there's very few guys in the past 20 years of NBA hoops that can carry this much pressure offensively. So inherently that's on him when the team is good enough to be championship or bust.
Yeah, man. This is what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Yeah, that's the saying.
What's that phrase Joe Mazzulla said? Joe Mazzulla said like pressure isn't a something, it's a privilege. He said something like that.
He's I don't know. He was talking about Tatum, and he was like, he gets to have pressure or something like that. Yeah,
you have the privilege of having pressure because you've earned your right to be held to a certain regard because you're so great. That's where Shai is now. He has the privilege of pressure, and if he succeeds, if he lives up to that, or he sees it, okay, this is an NBA legend. Like you can be crowned as a legend this June, even like as soon as that.
So this was a quote from this season. Joe Mazzulla says, I quote, "We're all going to be dead soon, and it really doesn't matter anymore, so there's zero pressure." Quote.
Never mind. Maybe nobody's under pressure. Then give it up to Joe. Fuck it.
We're all just going to die, I guess.
He said, you either kill yourself or get killed. What you going to do? What you going to do?
What you going to do? What you going to do? That's fucking facts.
Yes, but you are correct. Like Shai has to come out and perform, and he's done it to his credit. He's done it at every level. Like 2 years ago, when the Thunder were bubbling up, I was like, okay, Shai, can you do it in this playing game? Like, can you be good? And he performed pretty well last year.
Yeah,
they finally get the number 1 seed. All right, Shai, what are you gonna do? He played well. Everybody else didn't have the best of series, but Shai did not play poorly in the playoffs. Now here you are again, about to have the number 1 seed. You're about to be the MVP. They're saying you're the man. You have all playoffs long to prove that you are absolutely that guy. So yeah, you have to show up and you have to keep doing bare minimum what you do every night in the regular season.
They're saying you're better than Dwayne Wade. They're saying you're him.
See?
They're saying it's wild. MJ, Kobe, Harden, you. Prove it.
Which is wild.
Those are early conversations.
It's
so
wild now.
Too.
It's wild until he wins an MVP and a championship, and then it's not wild. Like all he needs is the outcome, the skills, and the production is there. So, Shai, are you going to be D Wade or are you going to be Harden? You pick a path.
And even that like Luka conversation too is so interesting. Like, who would have thought, like, if you would have looked at me in the eyes like 3-4 years ago and been like, yeah, Shai's gonna win an MVP before Luka Doncic, when Shai wasn't even in Trae Young conversations when we first started this podcast. Like, I would look at you and be like, yeah, you're out of your mind.
You.
There's so much shit no, back then he truly was. He truly wasn't. But like, point is, like, seeing him and like me having to actually think about him being Luka, which I still don't think he is just yet, but who knows? Who knows what happened over the next 5-6 months?
He's certainly not far. He's not far.
Yeah, like definitely those conversations like have shrunken. The space in between the two has shrunken dramatically because of what he does on defense and just his consistency as well. It's insane.
I think Luka's better, but they're in the same tier now. They're in the same tier now for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The top players in the world is a 4-player tier now. And maybe Shai still is below Luka and he's the 4th player in that tier, but he's not in any type of second tier with Tatum. I'm off that. Shai is top tier.
I'm so happy you're off that Tatum shit. So happy.
Honestly, but also it's because Tatum slowed down. That first month of the season, he was insane, 3-level scorer. He has slowed down since as a Celtic struggle. So part of it is Shai rising up and getting better. Part of it is the Tatum facade we saw in the season, that first couple weeks of the year when he was insane.
He was never better.
Slow
brother.
down.
I know who
He was
you
never
are.
better.
I know. Who
It's
you
kind of slowed down. I want to give him credit, and he deserved it at the time. Doesn't deserve it anymore.
Nah.
Yeah.
He stay over there. Stay on that side.
See, I feel prone to give Tatum credit. You feel prone to call him soft as baby shit. That's the difference. I'm gonna slide one way. You're gonna slide the other.
No one's calling him soft necessarily. It's just like I see through it. That's all it is.
You're not calling him soft. I don't know about the other one in the room right now.
I'll speak.
I'm not
for
saying
him. Maybe
that.
he is. I'm just kidding.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
No,
that.
I get it. Neither here nor there. It's a Tatum conversation.
It always falls into that.
Who said
Okay,
that?
Mo, who's next up on your list after Mr. Shea?
I got 6. I believe Donovan 7.
Oh, am I at 7?
I was 7. You're 6, Donovan. Mo.
Oh, I'm 6. Okay. Oh wow, we're at 6 already. Shit. Look at us flying by. All right, at number 6, I have Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
man.
okay.
Okay. Seeing Jimmy Butler have these tantrums year after year after year.
Tantrums?
That's what I'm gonna call them. They're tantrums. It's like, I wanna trade. I'm not happy here, and he
Give
just like
me
starts
my
throwing
money.
a fit, and we just see I don't think we ever see a superstar consistently like just make a big uproar. I said superstar, my bad, a star, because Jimmy Butler's not a superstar. A star.
Oh, we're hating today. Let's go. Keep going.
No,
He's not.
We never seen
I know.
a star
It's just
like
funny
him.
to aside.
Yeah, we never seen a star like him just continues to like do the absolute most and just make shit openly, loudly awkward as possible. That's all he does, and it's okay. You can do that. He's been given and earned that right because of what he was able to produce like after the fact. Okay, you're gonna sit down and hoot and holler when you're over there in Minnesota. Cool. You go ahead and you get traded to Philadelphia and you help take them to the highest of highs that they've ever been over the last few years or throughout the entirety of the Joel Embiid era. Okay, cool. You're hooting and hollering. You take yourself away from there. You get upset that they don't want to pay you. You go to Miami and you take them to the NBA Finals, not only once, but twice. Amazing. You're doing the same exact thing. If you're going to hoot and holler again and do the absolute most, and hell, maybe even embarrass yourself to like a certain degree at times, you have to have some level of high level success wherever you go to next. Or else I'm going to look at you like, bro, like you did all that for what?
Yeah, you're right. You could come out here and you can call Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins bitch made and pick the backups behind you and go one-on-one and do this whole facade, do a media rollout where you tell the world you think your teammates are bitch made and you make it a whole thing. You can do that when you immediately go to your next team and you put on a show and you're a star player, taking them in deep in the playoffs, going to Miami, making finals runs. You earn all the respect in the world to behave however you wish. If he plays how he has this year for his next team, the next time he decides to do something like this, nobody will want to hear about it.
He's 30. He's 35. Like, yeah. Like, but also, it's not even about like. I think at every stop, the common thread, yes, has Jimmy Butler hooted and hollered. Of course, has he backed up the hootering and the hollering afterwards? Yes.
Yeah.
But I do think that he is kind of all off the hook a little bit for me. Like, I see Pat Riley. Pat Riley is under more pressure.
I agree. Yeah, I'm not mad at Jimmy at all.
Than Jimmy Butler. Because at the very core of this, Jimmy Butler was disrespected publicly. Like, you're just not going to do that to me. And I just like, and so for Jimmy Butler, it's like, I will make this uncomfortable because you went out of your way to disrespect me and to, talk about me passive aggressively to the media and not even passive aggressively, basically tell the media that I needed to shut up. I've taken you to the finals 2 times out of the 4 years, right? All of that. Like, I have done stuff for this franchise and for you, honestly, kind of restated your credibility because the Heat were on the downward spiral. I've done all of this for you, and now you're going to be out here talking wild about me? No, you're not going to do that. I'm going to get what I deserve, and I want that contract, and you're not giving it to me, so I'm going to go somewhere where I can get that contract. Pat Riley is the one where it's like, you ran out LeBron, D. Wade, and Jimmy Butler. You are 81 years old. You are not getting any younger. Bam Adebayo has gotten worse on your watch. What are the Miami Heat going to do?
Bam Adebayo has gotten worse on your watch. It's so funny.
I'm putting that on Pat Riley. I'm putting everything on Pat Riley. There is a very limited window for the Miami Heat to continue to be great. And while Pat Riley is amazing and he's one of the best GMs that the league has ever seen, there's been a lot of mishaps over the last decade or so, and somebody has to answer for it. And Pat Riley is that guy. And for somebody who rocks the way that he rocks, the same way like what Mo just said, it's okay if you do all the hooting and hollering, but you have to go out and back it up. Pat Riley has done a lot of hooting and hollering. And it is now time for him to back it up. And
okay,
Pat Riley,
question.
Nobody believes in you. Donovan doesn't believe in you. What are you prepared to do about it, old man?
Okay, question.
He gonna try to fight me if I see him.
Hey, and also weekend, Pat Riley's probably gonna be there.
Just square up, Pat. I don't care.
You think he's gonna fight you? He got some dogs behind him that'll sick your ass, but we're gonna be like, UD, come get him.
Oh
And
yeah,
UD's
Duncan
gonna call his
Robinson.
dogs.
Duncan Robinson's gonna whoop your ass. That 6'7", 6'8" wingspan. You're cooked.
Okay, real question.
I see you in those Armani suits. I know what you mean. Pretty boy. Not scared.
What does Pat Riley like? What does Pat Riley showing out look like to you?
I think it's
What are
2
we
years
talking
ago. I think it's okay. So there's the long timeline. I think one, it's the press conference. We're saying like, yeah, winning is supposed to be hard, and you're taking the easy way out. With LeBron, I think it's that. I think it's letting D Wade walk out the door and not giving an absolute legend of the franchise whatever contract he wants, even though that's not even like crazy reasonable, and then having to double back and do it. Then I think that in more recent history, after you go to the finals and you are an 8 seed, I think it is being delusional enough to say we are going to run it back and not try to upgrade at any position where everybody was.
They went out and got Kyle Lowry.
No, people were making moves around the margins, and that offseason, the Heat were like, no, we're just going to bet on continuity, and we're just going to do that. The Dame stuff, you can partially blame him for that, for not being as aggressive. But also the Blazers were like, yeah, we're just not going to trade him to you. So like you can kind of give him, a little bit of leeway for that. But then it's the relationship of going out in public and being like, yeah, if you're not playing, you need to shut the hell up. You just can't talk to people in public that way and expect for everybody to just fall in line. I think a lot of
Look
that.
at how you got Donovan going.
I think a lot of that is just it's literally hollering. It's literally, it's a lot. So I don't think he
Pat
can rock
Riley
like
grew
that.
up in a different era, man. He over there back then, they do things
Isaac,
the right way.
Isaac,
He's probably an asshole in every era.
Isaac, tell Mo the verbiage about the old days.
The thing is, they're the old days.
Exactly.
And I bet Pat Riley was an asshole in every day. I bet that was a common characteristic in any age you want.
Yes. So yeah, Pat Riley, you're under more pressure than Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler's fine. He's suspended. He's out there playing dominoes, making coffee. He doesn't care. He
The
doesn't
NBA
care.
PA got his back. They can get that money back. It's fine.
Exactly. I'm good. You're 81 years old. What are you gonna do?
You're 81 years old. Is so funny. You're just rubbing in his face.
you finna fall off, old man. Damn. You're on your last legs.
You're washed. What's your next player, Donovan? Carry this energy over to somebody you want to criticize.
I have criticized this player a lot in the past, and I will probably criticize him moving forward if he continues to play this way. But a player under a lot of pressure this year is Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Maybe I shouldn't have introed it as criticism, because it's not even criticism. It's just like the reality of the team building situation.
It's straight pressure. Cat was under a lot of pressure the moment he got traded, because it was like, okay, I'm going to need you to show up and you're going to have to do your part. And to his credit, he has done that offensively. He has shown up and he has been amazing offensively. And part of the reason why the Knicks have an opportunity to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, potentially the finals, whatever, is if this offense is clicking at all cylinders, and Cat doing that, and Cat playing the way he does, obviously allows them to do that. If this dude cannot figure out a way to either stay on the court or be productive or do stuff defensively to make himself a manageable defensive player in the playoffs, and the Knicks get bounced early, it is going to be on Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks had a solid defense last year, and when you go up and you shake everything up about this team, for Karl Anthony Towns, He's going to be the piece
Okay.
that everybody looks at
I have
and
a
is
rebuttal
putting
here.
pressure on. It's not going to be on Mikal Bridges, who you traded 5 first-round picks for. It's going to be on Karl Anthony
I
Towns.
feel like innately it probably should be Mikal Bridges because you invested more into him, and so you
But we're not
expect more
talking
out of
about
him.
that.
And then
But
on
it's
top
not-
of that, too,
but it's not gonna
at the
be
start
that.
of the season, though. At the start of the season, like he didn't start playing real defense until the last like 7, 10, 15, whatever games or whatever you want to say. Like I understand,
gonna
like
be-
structurally, like the team has flaws because of who Karl Anthony Towns is and what you guys have to like replenish that. But I feel like more so like.
But look
He
at-
didn't matter.
look at-
He matters way less. He's the 5th guy in the starting lineup that if he can be a great defender, great. The point of why we're excited about that is because if he was where he once was defensively, it could mask a lot of the cat stuff. It was never Mikal Bridges is going to be who you live and die by. Maybe, I mean, I guess you could say that's the whole starting 5 matters when you only play 6 guys in a game. But Cat is the defensive anchor on a team that has some weak defenders in the starting lineup. There's a lot of pressure on him for that matter. And even offensively, there's been some playoff runs where things don't go well for Cat. And the way this team is set up, they are fantastic right now because the Jalen Brunson-Cat 2-man game is unstoppable. Jalen Brunson has been maybe the most underrated player in the league this year, setting up Cat to have the most efficient season of his career with that 5-out spacing he provides. He's been unstoppable as a scorer. 65% true shooting, 25 points per game. Take away the defense. Take away the pressure that's on him to guard a million pick and rolls versus teams like the Celtics, which is a tough ask enough. If he takes any type of dip offensively with the lack of defense, because you're not going to see him rise defensively in the playoffs, if that offense takes any type of dip like we've seen in the past, they're cooked. They have to click at the maximum level offensively, and he and Brunson are the offense.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that. I can agree with it to a certain degree. But also at the end of the day, like, you know who Karl Anthony Towns is. You know who you're trading for. You saw Mikal Bridges. You saw that he was one of the more like highly touted assets in the entire NBA because of certain things that he does. That is what catapults you to a lead NBA team in general. Karl Anthony Towns, of course, again, we saw him reach the Western Conference Finals, but there's certain holes and caveats to his game, and that's what you have to accept with it. Now, when you trade Mikal Bridges, that's supposed to like lead you into
you
other
accept
universes.
it. You accept it, but no matter what, a strong offensive center that doesn't play a lot of defense is a high pressure type of player, regardless, because you have to be at your absolute A game, or it's really hard to win with you. That's what every year we've done this list. Cat's probably been on here because, like, no matter what situation he's in, Cat's gonna have a lot of pressure because he has to be perfect. Otherwise, it's really hard to win with him making $50 million on your team.
Karl Anthony Towns is an all-star starter. Like,
yeah, he has more pressure than fucking Mikal Bridges.
Even regardless of how everybody felt or thought about Karl Anthony Towns coming into the season, the New York City PR has worked magic for Karl Anthony Towns at the start of this season. Everybody loves Cat, right? Again, he is an all-star starter. He has been built up, and offensively, he has lived up to it. But he has been built up to this place, and now he is playing in the biggest market on a team that has expectations of a deep playoff run, and you are one of the last pieces to whatever puzzle. You have to show up, and you have to play. And you have to be at your best. And if you come into the playoffs and you are fouling out of games, you get 3 quick fouls, or you're shooting 2 of 10 from 3 in a closeout game, that stuff isn't going to fly. And if that stuff happens, which we've seen, like I said, and we've seen time and time again with Cat in the playoffs, then we're gonna be talking about the Knicks in the summer and saying like, yeah, we had the dream last season, but now where do you actually go with this roster because you are so limited defensively and the whole Cat piece of it all? There's a very, very small window of where like expectations and hope and possibility meets for the Knicks, and that's this season.
How poetic.
That's what this is.
What I'm realizing also is that like you guys are actually do or
I think about this a lot. So
you have dreams about it?
Yes.
What I'm realizing as we go on with this segment is that you guys are actually do or die by Karl Anthony Towns. Meanwhile, like the Knicks,
are.
Yeah, the Knicks, they're do or die by Karl Anthony Towns. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges, okay, if he has an off game, whatever, you can rely on the multitude of wings that you guys, whether it be OG Anunoby, Josh Hart coming off the bench, or literally anybody, bro. Deuce McBride too. You have so many options and guys who can mask and do similar things to Mikal Bridges, but Cat is Cat, and what he does is 1-0 offensively. It's so rare to have a big who is just a walking mismatch towards almost every NBA player you put in front of his face. So I can see it from that perspective. I was just trying to have fake arguments over here. And I'm going to stand on it, actually.
All right, next player on the list doesn't require any fake arguments because this guy is just undeniable pressure. Devin Booker.
Devin Booker.
The Phoenix Suns, man. The Phoenix Suns are fucking broken. They've assembled the worst big three of all time. They've been pretty good as of late after they benched Bradley Beal and brought in Nick Richards. It's been some easy teams, but they've been taking care of business. They're looking more like themselves. In large part, besides from the two things I just named, because Devin Booker broke through that early season slump. He has been Devin Booker of late. As of the last 15 games, he looks how you'd expect him to look. We saw earlier in the year when he wasn't looking great, and the team obviously does not have the reinforcements behind him. Kevin Durant is old. You don't want to put too much burden on him. When Devin Booker looks good, this team has enough to win games, skate by, and win by small margins, but they find a way to win games and can do some version of what this team was built to do formula-wise. But they can't afford to have Devin Booker to have any down games at all in a playoff series. They have to have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker peaking every single game if they're going to have a chance in the playoffs. We can assume Kevin Durant will do Kevin Durant things. He's one of the safer, higher floor stars you've ever fucking seen. Devin Booker, I mean, you're going to have to be that too. Otherwise, this team has absolutely no life if they even get into the play-in.
Yeah, this team...
No life. I love that word.
This team doesn't really have a lot of life. Like, you look at what they were last year. They got swept out of the playoffs last year.
Exactly.
You know? Like, this team, we've clamored, begged them to blow it up all season long. If they go outside again, somebody's for sure getting moved. I don't know what Matt Ishbia would do. He will have to call whatever lawyer is necessary to break Bradley Beal's no trade clause because he's got to be like, what happened?
I just got a BR notification from ESPN report. The Suns declined incoming Kevin Durant and Devin Booker trades. They rebuffed them. So they're not trying to blow this shit up. I literally just got the notification.
Okay.
So with that in mind, they're not going to blow it up. They're going to run it back. Devin Booker, you better hoop because they're going to need it.
Yeah, man. Listen, because it's not only like for the Suns' perspective, because obviously, like they are cooked. Like they're not winning a championship. They're not winning 2 playoff series. That's not happening. But you don't want to go outside.
2. They could beat us. Just kidding.
They could find their way to the Western Conference Finals.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I was gonna joke and use it as an avenue to slander some teams and be like, they could beat them and them, but then my brain stopped because I couldn't think of any teams they could actually beat.
You're bad.
I think the biggest pressure for Devin Booker is like the 2-guard position is in flux right now, and it's a lot of weird stuff happening. We've given you the benefit of the doubt for a long time, and did kind of get to the top of the mountain. Do you want to slide down to 3 on that? Are we gonna have to start talking about some other guys? And now the conversation that we put Devin Booker in, that's more we're like, all right, what's gonna happen? Are you as good as
Get ready to speak Tyler Hero comparisons?
Oh my God!
Hey man, hate to go there, but you go outside in another playoff series. I can only do so much for you.
But simply put, this team has 2 good players. They both have a lot of pressure on them. Kevin Durant is 36 and better, so I'm not necessarily putting that on him. I think his story is written. He's kind of devoid of criticism at this point. You can't really, unless he just has an all-time shitter, you're not going to look at Kevin Durant and be like, this is your fault. So
yeah,
if they fail, no matter what happens, if you lose a playoff series, there's a blame game. Even if you're not expected to win, there's just like a narrative of like Stephen A. Smith has to go on TV and yell at somebody. It's because he's got to pick Devin Booker.
I mean, yeah.
Mad Dog Russo will have bars for you for no reason, but he's going to have...
Don't make me call you a Chris Paul merchant, Devin. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Shit, I don't want to have those conversations either. But the last time they
won
if we're being playoff
real,
games, it was 2 years ago. Where they yeah. Let's talk about it.
Shit ain't been the same since Ricky Rubio left.
Oh my gosh.
Hey man,
that's all I gotta say.
Hey man, I'm just saying what happened. I don't think
DeAndre Ayton is a floor raiser.
I don't think that we're making stuff up. Hell no. That's a lie. We did make that up. I will apologize for that.
On my behalf. But yeah, we don't gotta spend some time on this. We've talked the Suns' downfall into oblivion. We know where they are. Mm-hmm. Simple algebra here for why Devin Booker has pressure. Yeah. Who's next, Mo?
Let's roll into number 3. My last pick is Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. This
Oh.
Milwaukee Bucks team has definitely been better as of late. I believe they're 7-3 over the last 10 games. And Damian Lillard has been absolutely cooking. He's been looking like the normal Damian Lillard that we're like used to back in his Portland days. Obviously, like the volume isn't there because, he has to share the ball a little bit more or whatever, but the efficiency is there. I believe he's been shooting like 42% from three during that stretch too. And overall, like this team is clicking. Now, of course, like they still have several massive weaknesses. Their bench could use a little bit more juice. Chris Middleton off I don't know how many injuries at this point. They've been struggling rebounding the ball and all that. But overall, this is the best that we've seen the Milwaukee Bucks throughout this entire Damian Lillard tenure. With that being said, too, okay, you guys are rolling into the NBA playoffs. I need to see Giannis healthy. Bare minimum, because
Definitely.
he hasn't been that over the last 2 years. 2 years ago, he missed several games in the first round of the playoffs against the Miami Heat, and they eventually end up losing that series, and that's what caused Mike Budenholzer to be exited out of the scene. Okay, cool. Last year, you're not even there fully for the Indiana Pacers series, so that sucks as well. Are you going to be there? And if you're there, can you still be the same Giannis that we've seen throughout the regular season? I
like
really
the
don't
term-
know.
I like the term exited out of the team rather than fired. That just sounds like ejecto Cito, cuz he just threw Mike Budenholzer off the deep end.
It's like someone got to go, bro.
Get exited, bitch. But no, you're right. Yeah, simply put, this is an all-time level player that has now 2 straight years of not being able to be an all-time level player because of availability. Nobody's doubting his ability at all. I think a 3rd straight year we'll have conversations if he's not healthy. And sure, it's just been kind of bad luck, but you know how these things go. You know how Donovan goes. He's going to say it. He's going to call you brittle.
Yeah.
He's gonna say it.
Will it make sense? Probably
It's
not.
gonna be you.
He's gonna
It's
say
gonna
it.
be you and Anthony Day-to-Day Davis, and like
Oh my
those are gonna be the conversations. And
I'm
so
going to be
it's
mad all summer because it's going to be fucking stupid, but it's going to happen, and I'm going to have to deal with that. And Giannis, you're maybe I'm under pressure, Giannis, because you're going to make me defend you if you get hurt again.
Yeah, here we go. Giannis all offseason, coming into this year, everybody was trying to soft launch it. Nobody was strong enough to actually stand on the take, but there was a lot of like, Giannis is actually underrated. He's actually he might be fighting for it. And a lot of people were pushing, Giannis back up to this mountain where we had already crowned Jokic one, but there was a small contingent of people that was like, it's actually could be like 1A, 1B type situation. Giannis, I haven't seen you in the playoffs in 2 years. That's exactly what Mo's saying. And I think that now, like, you have to be worried about this. Like,
Giannis is 1B. Giannis is right there. I don't know why we're pretending nobody's like still saying it. He's damn near. He's in the same tier as Jokic. It's interchangeable to some degree. Giannis is that good. He's gonna be that good regardless. But yeah, you're right. I hope he has a chance to prove it so I don't got to deal with this shit for another summer. Because even you soft launching it right now, I'm like, fuck, it's gonna be a long year.
Yeah, I actually don't think that he's. Some people are saying I don't think he's one, but I do think that it's like Jokic and then next 3 in terms of like tiers. But
Sure, semantics, but I think he's wherever that tier ends, the line between is very close to me.
yeah, it's been a long time since 2021. So like the further and further we get away from that series, a lot of stuff can be said. Yeah. And even the series after it, the year after when they lost to Boston because of the Grant Williams game, that specifically was, in my opinion, the best I had ever seen Giannis play in terms of like defense, carry job, put the team on my back. We're gonna get to this point. That was some amazing stuff, and we just haven't seen it. And so now for Giannis, like, Shai's moving up. If Shai has a good playoff run and magically in March, whatever, Giannis gets hurt again and we don't get to see it, we're going to have conversations, it's going to be there.
Even outside of the narrative reasons we're talking about,
Discourse.
There's just a lot of pressure on him for just how the team's constructed. Like they're 14th in half-court defense. That's good enough, I guess, if your offense is really, really clicking. And Damian Lillard looks to be about as good as Damian Lillard is going to be at this age. He looks probably just about as good as he did in Portland, albeit the production's less because he's handling the ball a little bit less, sharing touches with Giannis.
True.
I think that they've gotten better at the two-man game. You're starting to see them have natural chemistry, and Giannis is sending some screens. You know, like it looks better than we did last year and better than it did the first 2 weeks when we were like panicking. Chris Middleton is cooked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys saw that tweet where it was, there's been twice in Chris Middleton's career in which he's played over 15 minutes in a game and got 0 points. They both happened in the last calendar week. That's not good. That's not good. So they're clearly trying to trade him, or if not trading him, they're trying to make some kind of move. They're clearly committed to getting their best foot forward this year and getting the best chance in the playoffs they can and bolstering their roster. Not sure they're going to be able to do that being the secondary period and having so little assets. Brick Lopez has been still good, but not quite the dominant defensive force he once was. So that 14th half-court defense, to me, is really relying on Giannis. I saw some Bucks fans push back on that because I said Giannis has been carrying defensively. Sure, yeah. Shout out Andre Jackson. Shout out everybody else that's been trying their hardest. Somebody in the comments was telling me that Damian Lillard's having the best defensive stretch of his career. You're probably right. Nevertheless, Giannis is the force that makes that all possible. He has to be a legitimately great two-way player because this is a team that is kind of like what we said with the Suns, right? Two great players. They have a better supporting cast than the Suns do for damn sure, but is really live and die by these two great players. So in that instance, Devin Booker is the one that would catch the heat. In this instance, it's Giannis.
Yeah, and right now, I think in order to alleviate some pressure from Giannis, they need some type of big wing who has a combination of an ability to like rebound, of course, score at some whatever level, and just be a big body force who can be a connective piece. And similar lights Chris Middleton before all these injuries happened. And
sounds like they need Jimmy fucking Butler. That's what I'm hearing.
If not Jimmy Butler, hey, I got a DeAndre Hunter for you. But outside of the trolling too, outside of the fact, really, like they are able to move off of they have a first round pick. And then on top of that, too, they have the ability to move off of Chris Middleton or Bobby Portis. And shit, like the guy we see on the screen right now, like Denny FD would be fucking nice on this team, bro. Denny FD is a really, really good player who can push the pace and will fill in a lot of gaps for this team. He can hold his own defensively. Of course, like he's not the greatest shooter in the world, but he's 35% normal. And his playmaking in terms of pushing the pace, too, and transition would like eat for this team.
Yeah, I don't know if he's available for that price, but that'd be great. I mean, could you imagine they trade Chris Middleton for DeAndre Hunter? How disgusting that would feel as a Bucks fan to watch a team legend go out the door for DeAndre Hunter.
Team legend. That is true. He is a legend. Fuck.
He is a team legend. He brought him a championship. They took a what's it called? A chance on him early, traded for him after his rookie year. He blossomed.
That is true.
But again,
what a weird situation.
The man had surgery on both ankles before the season. It was never going to work out.
Isn't it? We don't talk about that enough. They traded for a second round pick in Chris Middleton, and he fucking turned into an all-star when he was thought to be a nothing in that trade. That's crazy.
Shout out to them.
That's under talked about. Like, has that happened? Like, he wasn't even like a high.
That trade
what was that trade?
I don't remember that trade, but I do know like consistently throughout their like through Giannis's early days, they're looking for that second guy. Initially, we thought it was going to be Jabari Parker. Okay, now Jabari Parker, cool. Boom, we got Thon Maker. Thon Maker, what are you going to do for me, baby? He did absolutely nothing for this team and organization. Okay, boom, I'm not Thon Maker. Can we find some other draft pick? DJ Wilson, damn, can't do shit for us either. And then here you go, you get blessed with one of the better developmental stories over the last few years.
Middleton joined the Bucks. Middleton joined the Bucks after being traded with Brandon Knight and a crazy Russian name I don't know how to pronounce from the Pistons in exchange for Brandon Jennings. That was how they got him. They traded away Brandon Jennings. 2013. Okay.
Good stuff.
And he's a second rounder from 2012. Like, I think Brandon Knight was clearly the headliner of that trade, and Chris Middleton was the guy that we took a chance on, and he became an all-star. Like, that's an under-talked about crazy development story.
Good stuff. Good for the Bucks. But yeah, man, it's time to get Chris Middleton out of here, though. Might be time to move on.
All right, man. Number 2 on this list, Donovan, where are we going?
We are going to Cleveland, Ohio. Donovan Mitchell, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. We have given you grace all year long because the team is amazing. You guys were winning games. Darius Garland is back to playing amazing basketball. Evan Mobley has taken the leap. So much good stuff has gone on in Cleveland that you can't even hate about some of the quote-unquote weird things that have been going on this year. And you can look at their season and say, oh, yeah, everybody's just doing it for the betterment of the team. But when you look at in terms of just like shots taken and stuff like that. Like D Mitch, you're still putting up shots trying to get points, and the shots aren't necessarily going in. And I think that part of it is when you have guys like Donovan Mitchell, or it's like him, Jamal Murray, Jimmy Butler, when you get tasked with that label of I'm a playoff riser, that's cool, but you have to rise in the playoffs, and like that's where the pressure comes from. And so now you have the Cavs with the best team that they've had throughout this entire, 2-guard lineup, the entire Darius Garland lineup. If you guys go out sad, and I think for them at this point, like conference finals is bare minimum the expectation that it is going to be you and the Celtics for a chance to get to the finals. If they go out anytime before that, it's going to be a failure. It's going to be a disappointment. And I think that even as well-rounded as the team is right now, a lot of that is going to end up on Donovan Mitchell and his ability to make shots and create shots for himself and to keep this offense alive. And so I think that like Evan Mobley has taken leaps. We'll see what that looks like under playoff intensity. I think Darius Garland is fine, but we've seen him, especially going up against the Celtics, you are able to put a lot of like length and size on him. We'll see how that goes. D Mitch is the guy on that team with the highest offensive ceiling. I need to see it in these playoffs and for the rest of the year. I need to see him turn up.
Okay, that's fair. Me personally, I can see a world where a lot of pressure is on Donovan Mitchell, but I kind of want to lean a little bit away towards that because we've seen him time and time again perform and sometimes like a lot of times be the best player on the team.
Even more reason you got to do it now. You got to do it when it matters.
We saw him last year look someone like Jason Tatum in the eyes. I agree with you too to that light, but more so I look at the legitimacy of this team and I feel like because of the respect and what he's done in the past, he should be able to do it again. It's just the respect factor that I have right there. As far as someone like Darius Garland, I'll more so put more pressure towards him because I haven't seen it before. Now, of course, last year and before that too, so many things was going on with him injury-wise, but we saw his play style just get like iced out, and I said a couple podcasts ago, like he's just been hit with a stun gun whenever you put a couple like 6-7 wings in front of his game, and it just dismantles everything that he's like used to doing. I don't see that with Donovan Mitchell, but with Darius Garland,
that's the point. Darius Garland is not as good as Donovan Mitchell, and that's a problem that hasn't been clear this year. Like I feel like D Mitch has played himself down to Darius Garland's level a little bit this regular season, and you're right, Darius Garland is not a playoff proof scorer. He is a guy that can be slowed down and can be game planned out of a game by throwing size at him. And that's why D Mitch needs to be the guy that makes that really fucking hard to do because the guy next to him demands more attention. And for the reasons you said, we've seen him do it before. We know he's capable. He's career low right now, field goal percentage at the rim. Thank God he's shooting 40% from three. This has been a thing all season. It still is. It hasn't gone anywhere. Career low percentage of shots at the rim and field goal percentage there. He needs to have all the oomph we've ever seen from him because Darius Garland will have stinkers. It's part of the Darius Garland experiment. Sometimes those lights get bright and he misses 2 free throws at the end of the game and loses to the Houston Rockets. That's going to be the thing. There will be games where Evan Mobley, the jump shot isn't falling and the offense gets bogged down a little bit. Donovan Mitchell's going to have to play superhero a little bit if they play the Boston Celtics.
My thing is that if Darius Garland, who I think and deep down know who he is or who he can be, then Donovan Mitchell's stinkers will not be you won't smell it as much. But if Darius Garland's stinkers are there and he's not able to like play make and be as much of a scoring threat that he is, then I think he dismantles. So he throws the entire team off its rhythm because they're not able to get as many like easy looks off. I think Darius Garland, his playmaking and just the insane threat that he is, affects his team more entirely than what Donovan Mitchell does because he's just going to do what he does, which is get buckets at an unbelievable level. Overall,
I get what you're saying, and I do I think that us three and there's also just Darius Garland fans when it comes to the NBA. Like Darius Garland fans love Darius Garland. And I think that we are very, very high on him. But if you do take a step back out of that and you look at the hierarchy of this team, Donovan Mitchell is one. You can argue who's two between Garland or Mobley, but Donovan Mitchell is one on the list and on the pecking order, and then we go down from there. whether or not, like, if they want to win a championship, yes, everybody's gonna have to play well, and whichever one of the four doesn't have a good series, we're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna say like, yeah, they didn't have a great series. They were part of the reason, one of the main reasons why they lost. But D Mitch throughout this season, while everybody else has kind of elevated this year, and like Jared Allen's playing well, Evan Mobley has taken a leap, Darius Garland, all that stuff, all the bench pieces, everybody has taken a step forward. Donovan Mitchell has been the one that hasn't necessarily taken that step forward, or even if you thought that he was at like his ceiling, played at his normal standard. So right now he's underperforming. And for a guy that has repeatedly said it's okay if he underperforms, in the regular season, he gets to another level. If you don't have that other level, then the entire way that we've talked about you in terms of potentially being the best two guard in the league, being a top 12 player, whatever, all that kind of goes out the window if we don't get the playoff. Like, think about how we were talking about D Mitch 2 years ago after the Knicks series. Like, that was kind of nasty because he didn't have a great series. If the same thing happens this year, we're kind of back in that space.
Yeah, and this team, if they don't make the conference finals, or if they get their ass whooped by the Celtics having gotten there, they will get just called the next Atlanta Hawks. That's what's going to be. They're the 2016 Hawks, or whatever year it was. Mm-hmm. Is it 15?
15.
Yeah, I think
15, 16.
15.
They will just be the new 15 Hawks. And that is something that rests on D Mitch's star equity. The other guys are all-star level players, especially this season. They are not superstars. They're not above fall off. Like, they can be affected by a defense. And if you're going to be a championship level team, you need to have one guy who seemingly isn't able to be knocked down like that. And that has to be D Mitch.
The fate of the regular season is resting in the Cleveland Cavaliers' hands. Because if they lose, it's another notch for people who are like, the regular season doesn't matter. I don't care about these teams.
Yeah.
Everything.
And again, is it unfair? Is it unfair? Yes. The Celtics might just be better. And that might just be it. They might just be a team well built to beat the Cavs. That could very well be the case. Nevertheless, the pressure is there because the slander will be there if they don't come through with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious.
D Mitch got to have it.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and then I think that's the difference in the conversation is sometimes you're arguing what should be, and we're just like, no, what is. Like, the pressure is there whether we like it or not.
No, it definitely is there. It would just be a boring conversation if we were just like, yeah. Kind of throwing another tidbit in there.
No, I agree with you. Darius Garland is,
but he's very important
for sure. I just think that he's gonna have some games where he gets locked up. I'm kind of just like accepting that reality.
It's just like the nature of like the player
he's a small guard, second option that sometimes gets out of the flow of the game. Like, it is what it is. Like, he's gonna have those moments.
I won't watch.
If he didn't have those moments, if that never happened and he was best version, then we're like, holy shit, this is like Steve Nash redux. But that's not going to be the case.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Donovan. I just simply will not pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay, last player on this list. The number one player under the most pressure in the entire NBA, specifically come playoff time, Jalen Green.
Who?
Jalen Green.
Houston Rockets, Jalen Green?
JG?
That one.
Number 4?
That one.
Dre and Michelle BD?
Correct. I wanted to say it, but you got it. I think Jalen Green has obviously been a point of much controversy year in and year out in terms of, is he good? Is he worth building around, right? And that hasn't mattered that much because the team hasn't been very good, and they've been able to let him develop and put all their stock into developing this number 2 player that could one day be really great. There is no more one day available. They are the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. We did our contender tier list 2 weeks ago. I was telling you guys, this is just a fucking good team that deserves respect. And since then, they beat the Cavs twice. They beat the Celtics. They beat the Grizzlies twice. They just been beating the piss out of every great team they come across because they are a legitimately great team that will be severely hampered in the playoff series if Jalen Green does not give you a good Jalen Green stretch. He has the ability to be the difference between them making the conference finals and living up to that hype, or being a first, second round exit and saying, oh, well, I guess regular season doesn't matter. I guess this young team wasn't ready. That's going to be the talking point is their youth. They weren't ready for the big stage when really Jalen Green sometimes likes to shoot 42% from 3 about 10% of the time. 90% of the time, he likes to shoot 35% from three. And if he does shoot 35% from three, their offensive firepower simply won't be good enough. So he is the swing factor that decides their ceiling. And that's a lot to ask of a guy who is not great, has a lot of flaws in his game. So that's a lot of pressure to do. Have to play above your averages. You better be the best outlier version we've seen from you. Otherwise, your team is going to fail. I don't think, what I'm describing is a lose-lose situation in my mind. But he better find a way to get that shit out the mud and figure it out.
I mean, Jalen Green
I don't know what to say. Yeah.
He is a swing factor. I mean, for all the reasons of like why someone like me don't necessarily believe in the Houston Rockets and their peak and their ceiling this year is because like it's all contingent on Jalen Green. So, we could easily see them upset a couple teams if we want to call it that. Someone like me will call it that, but I don't even know if it would be a thing because of what we've seen them doing to all these teams on a consistent basis. But it's all on his shoulders and what he's able to do. But almost right now, I'm like, damn, bro, like, does that even matter because of all the other great things that they're getting from fucking Dylan Brooks, who hit 10 threes against the Boston Celtics or what Fred VanVleet can give you and all that other stuff. And I didn't even mention Ben Thompson. I'm just like, I don't know, bro. This team is just...
I do know. It matters a lot. It matters a ton because everything you said is going to get them good enough to compete with these other good teams, but you can't have the leading shot taker on your team, the highest field goal attempt guy, be a potato for a series. He has to be great. And even outside of their just single season playoff run, potential this year, he's also playing for a spot on the team. Like thus far, they've been committed to him and they've been reluctant to listen to the naysayers and give up on him, right? They've continued to empower him, continue to play through him, call lots of plays for him, let him develop into being the star two guard they need him to be. It's easy to do that when you're not playing for shit and it's a regular season. If you get into a playoff series and Sengun plays Sengun game, he does very well, plays at a low all-star level. Amen Thompson continues to thrive and is also clearly the next star on this team. Everybody else, all these defenders do their thing. Tyrese does great. Dylan Brooks doesn't shoot you out of the series this time. Everybody does their thing. Then you look over there and Jalen Green's just kind of being Jalen Green, having some spark games where he could win you a game. He can drop 30 and go nuts for you. But for every game that happens, there's a game where everything doesn't go so well. That's a lot less palatable when you're trying to make the conference finals.
100%. I see the case for Jalen Green being like number one on this list and having the most pressure because there is like for the other guys, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in terms of what they're gonna lose, that you're just gonna lose a discourse battle. But
yeah, you're just gonna yell that.
Yeah, but there's actually like a tangible thing for Jalen Green to lose. For me personally, I think that like he has to show not only in a playoff series. I think for me, it's more about the rest of this season in terms of where the playoffs is or where the pressure is. Because let's say that Jalen Green turns up in a playoff series. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Jalen Green does right now, is that he's inconsistent and he has the ability to go on heaters. And so if he has like a so-so first round and then they get to the second round and he goes on one of these heaters and now they're in the conference finals, you go into next year thinking that Jalen Green has taken the step forward when in reality, he might just still be the same Jalen Green and the same inconsistent player. And so like, I think like for me,
let's just pray he has a good 2 weeks.
No, well, you know what that is? That's a matter of perspective and preconceived biases. Cause that happens all the time for good and bad reasons.
It's the rest of the season.
That happens all the time for good and bad reasons. Sometimes you can say, oh, he fooled you. He had a great playoff shooting moment that he won't do it consistently. Or sometimes it's Paolo Banchero and he shoots 52% from mid-range and you're like, oh, do that every playoff series because I like him. Like they like him, so they're gonna choose to believe it the same way that we would for somebody we like. That's the nature of small sample size basketball.
First of all, there wasn't 4 years of data prior to Paolo going crazy. But like,
I just mean 7 games is 7 games regardless. And the outlier shooting happens, you choose to take what you want from it. You could either say
you just picked on
playoff
his guy,
riser.
Isaac. Why would you do that?
You could say exactly. I'm just so the opposite of the biasy. You can say a playoff riser, and what happens after and before playoff riser, or you could say got lucky at a good time. I say it to say the Rockets will surely say playoff riser, is what I'm saying. They will take that away from Jalen Green if he has that moment you're describing.
Yes, if you are in Jalen Green headquarters and you are trying to map out the next 2 years, number one thing on the board is like, all right, brother, you got to hoop. Like you got to make some shots. Like that's definitely number one. But I do think like for the Rockets, it's very, very interesting. Their offensive, like, what do I think that their floor is going to be offensively? Because I do think that their floor is very low. Like they can get to or maybe not the floor, but like their basement can be a very, very low basement. And in that case, like you probably could go out in the first round. So
I don't know if it is that low. I feel like we overrate that a little bit. Like they're ninth in offense right now. And a big part of that is transition and putbacks and second chance points, which is stuff you typically see step back a little bit in the playoffs. But you don't see it go away completely. You know, like they're not going to be
no.
Like if they're ninth right now in a very big sample size, and this second chance point stuff they do, this transition stuff they do, is also because elite talent there. Like Amen is just amazing at those things. Tarisen's amazing at those things. While that is deprioritized in a slow down playoff setting, it doesn't go away when you're that talented. So I don't think they're going to dip below like a 15th like league average level offense.
I don't know. I mean, you say that, but then also like we see time and time again certain players who have limitations with their games, but also like, their strengths when it comes to running up and down or just trying really hard or whatever the case may be. Like that is at times like the main reason why they don't progress when things get a lot slower. So that is that is.
I think that's a very simplistic way to view why the Rockets are good. They're not just like run real fast.
Yeah,
merchants,
they're not merchants, but in terms of like why
like you don't get to the ninth. You don't get to the ninth best offense in the NBA by just being transition merchants. Like they are good. Sengun is a good half court hub that creates advantages. Dylan Brooks is having a good shooting season. Fred VanVleet is a stabilizer. Amen and Tari Eason do provide good interior threats from the from the dunker spots. Like. They have skills there that aren't just regular season merchant stuff that's sure they're going to go away.
That's one of the things. I think Dylan Brooks, in terms of like scared, or like Dylan Brooks is one of the things that I'm kind of most worried about for their playoff stuff, maybe even more than Jalen Green. Because obviously, out of us three, I am the most skeptical about Jalen Green and his ceiling. But he has proven, he has, at the very least, he has taken a step forward this season. Like it is better than what it was than what it was previously. And so you have to give him some credit there. Dylan Brooks is the one where it's like he's hitting 10 threes. I don't know about that. Like in the playoffs, I don't know. That's the one where I cannot get it out of my head. The images,
and that's fine.
Because
Tari Eason will hit those shots.
Yeah, of Dylan Brooks shooting the Grizzlies out of playoff games. I can't do it. So that's the one where I'm more scared. But I do think that there is like an elevated floor for Jalen Green this year based off of everything that he's shown.
Dylan Brooks is at 42% from the corners both of the last 2 years. Guess what he's shooting on mid-range jumpers this year? It was 41% last year. Guess what
you say, Jalen?
Dylan Brooks.
50.
52?
Who the fuck does he think he is?
He's on a heater for mid-range.
He's crazy as hell.
I'm not buying that. I'm just not buying it.
Okay. Shout out to Dylan Brooks. I didn't know that. That's a fun fact for the day.
Also, I looked it up out of curiosity. I kept saying Paolo Banchero shot 52% from mid-range last year in the playoffs. It was 56%.
God damn.
He went ape shits.
Yeah, that makes sense. Similar to your reasoning for having Jalen Green as the number one player with like the most pressure on his shoulders, I see all those reasons and I apply the same as that thing to who I would probably have a number one, which is like Jamal Murray. The inconsistencies through his end. We all know, like, obviously the Denver Nuggets haven't been one of the best teams in the entire NBA, but at the end of the day, like, they're top 4 or 5 seed or whatever it is, and they got the best player in the world, one of the best players in history, and they've reshaped and reformed themselves. But as much as they want to reform themselves, as much as we want to see Russell Westbrook and Jokic have this cool connection and synergy between those two, like at the end of the day, like Donovan likes to say, the game is about a bucket. And Jamal Murray is the only player on that team who can get a bucket in certain types of ways. So
you guys discussed me.
That's
that
who I would
unironically co-opted that.
That's who I would have probably as number one on this list.
What'd you say?
You guys discussed me that we've now unironically co-opted that shit. And now we're just saying it seriously. Go to hell.
Listen, sometimes life is simple, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the next merch drop. Like we're putting that on a t-shirt, 100%. Like,
Who started that? Was that Ball Don't Stop? I don't even know.
I don't know. Some stupid Twitter conversation. He probably was like a pillar of that conversation. He's a grandfather of that for sure.
I think I've seen him like holding the camera back close to his face. The game is about a bucket.
Oh my God, that's traumatizing what you just did.
Good impression.
It's traumatizing, bro. It's traumatizing. But yeah, I view Jamal Murray in the same light. He would be number one for me. But because I can see like the Denver Nuggets wrecking so much shit and actually find their way into the NBA Finals if it is clicking for Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I can say that. The only reason, like, I think Jamal can be pretty high up on this list. He also has a ring already, so like, it's not like, I don't know if there's a lot on the line, and I don't know if Denver is going to go out of their way to move Jamal. So like, yeah, so like, he could have another trash series. He's not going to go anywhere, and they already have a chip. Everything is kind of solidified. I do think that there is a certain element of pressure, like I said, where there has to be something there has to be a very like tangible negative. And so out of a lot of the teams that are going into the playoffs, Jalen Green probably does have, we were maybe a little bit too high on Reed Shepherd coming into the year, but we were talking about, hey, is Reed Shepherd,
don't jump off the hype yet. He hasn't got a chance. He's fine. He's fine. Don't sell your stock.
I'm just coming into this year, this specific year.
Hold the line.
We all thought that he would be more impactful than what he is right now, which is, doing what he's doing. But like,
he's not playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's
hold the line. Reed is still Reed.
There's a world where we were like, oh yeah, is Reed gonna come in and take Jalen's spot? Like, he might not be the starting two guard of this team, and he was the number 2 overall pick in the draft a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that's real.
Nah, I don't buy into that because it's just way too early. It's way too early to have those
conversations. It's like 5 years.
If I saw him and if he was playing like fucking trash, which he's not, he's not playing like anything because he's in the G League right now, then I would be like, oh. But
no, he's talking about Jalen Green.
I'm talking about
Jalen Green. Okay, I thought you were referring to Reed Shepherd.
Oh no. Yeah, Jalen is the number 2 pick in the draft.
He's saying Jalen has Reed breathing down his throat in terms of long-term placement on the team.
Oh yeah, I agree. Okay.
Or
we'll see.
A consolation trade.
Something's on the horizon. Something's on the horizon, and Jalen Green has to earn his spot in this playoff series. That's a takeaway.
Okay, Jalen Green, all eyes are on you. And now,
what are you prepared to do about it?
That means all eyes are on us because it's time for us to go into war. TikTok time. Crown eaters, the crown eating gods, where you at? Strike down upon us now. Crowns.
My God, strike down my crayon eaters.
Say no.
We're on to TikTok time. Welcome to TikTok time.
Eat.
Today, we're going to start with the tier list. Oh, punch on mic. We're going to do a tier list of NBA nicknames. We've done a lot of them in the past. We've graded nicknames. We've done a draft of nicknames. Today, we're going to put some into a tier list. I tried to get nicknames that we didn't cover before in a previous video, but there's probably some overlap because some of them are famous. But a bunch of seemingly new nicknames to us in terms of what we've talked about. We're putting them in a tier list, S through F. You guys know how this works by now.
I do know how it works. So tell me the first nickname that we're going to put into this tier list.
The first nickname, let's go with Unicorn for Kristaps Porzingis.
Hard ass nickname. I would go
like B or C. Wait, Mo, you muted.
God damn, bro. New mics. God damn it.
Bozo.
But I was going to say, hard ass nickname, bro. That can't be B or C. What the fuck?
You know what it is? It's not a great nickname for Kristaps Porzingis, but it's such a good nickname. It's transcended into being any big guy who can shoot is a unicorn. So I think it's got to be A.
If you can change the way we talk about the game and move a little bit, then yeah, it should be. Yeah, he's the trailblazer for that nickname. Like when you think about unicorn, he's the OG for it. It's KP, and he's influenced so many other guys being called like, oh, you could be unicorn, Alex R. Oh shit, unicorn. You know?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's. They've diluted the nickname at this point. It's not great. It's not.
You can call it dilution. You can call it influence. Whichever way you want to go. I'm going A tier.
It's damn near.
You can't have 8 unicorns across the league. That defeats the purpose of unicorns.
That's not Chris
He created a new
fault.
unicorn.
That's not his nickname's fault.
Bro.
No, we gotta go B.
He created a new category. You can't
Just because other people want to fucking ride his cock and take his nickname doesn't mean it's a worse nickname.
No, he should have been. If he was truly a unicorn, he should have been good enough to keep that nickname just for himself. And it would have been no debate about who else is a unicorn.
Get your Knicks fandom out of here. It happened the way it happened for a reason. It don't matter.
A-tier.
He's A-tier. Damn near S.
Here we go. Starting with that foolishness. I see.
Next up, let's keep on the topic. White chocolate.
This is the S-tier nickname, bro. Smooth as ever. I mean, the nickname speaks for itself. White chocolate moves like someone that shouldn't be moving at his skin tone. It's hard.
Elaborate.
You know, it's not necessarily his athleticism, but it's the creativity that he does it with. It's a certain flash, a certain flair that you see with this game that you quite don't see people who look like this with.
You don't see those guys doing that very often.
Yeah, exactly. There's a certain swagger to him, bro. He has a real X factor. Makes you get up and say, wow, holy smokes, holy moly. How did he pull that off?
I'll go S tier.
I love
too.
a good dog whistle. Let's go S tier.
It's S tier.
Okay. Next up, let's keep on the topic. Let's keep things nice and pasty. The Hick from French Lick
Fuck.
for Larry Bird.
See, it's B. It's a good nickname, right? Like if you were writing a biography about Larry Bird, this is what you would title the book. But it's too long to say every time.
That's a crazy title for a book. What the fuck?
What do you mean? It would sell. You would know exactly who it's talking about.
It would sell to
fine.
you and people like you. It would not sell to the rest of us.
What do you mean,
People
like
like
me?
you.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
Take that for what you will. For what ill. Get that away from me. That's not a hit.
I'm okay with B though. That's fine. I actually just learned about it yesterday. It was funny. On Project 94, Jack told me about it and I never heard it before. And I was like, well, I am.
Oh yeah, he's tapped.
I'm out of my league.
Of course.
I'm out of my league with the white lexicon talking to Jack. I was like, you got it. Tell me more.
It's Jack. He should know.
Yeah. We can go B tier. B tier is fine. Title for a book is insane, but we can go B. Hey, man.
I might write this
Keep it
book
going.
now.
Makes me want to look at your book collection right now, Donovan. Like, it makes me want to go through all the list of books that you've read over the course of your life.
Let's do
Makes
it.
me really wonder.
What about the Red Mamba from Matt Bonner?
I'm dropping
Hard.
this to like D.
What?
D, what?
No, stop
What
it.
do you mean?
He co-opted this. There's too many Mambas out there. There's the black Mamba, red Mamba. There's the white Mamba. There's a lot of colored Mambas out there, and I don't like it.
So now we don't like Mambas. So now we're over Mambas.
And now we don't
I'm
like
just
representation. Now we don't like diversity.
Are you anti-redhead?
What type of what side of America
Did
do
I
you lean towards?
strike
Donovan?
down DEI in nicknames? You know what? My bad. My bad. We'll put it up top.
We stand for everybody.
My bad.
Put it in S tier. We stand with the redheads. We stand with Andrew Santino.
See, that's a DEI placement right there.
There we
Putting it
go.
in S tier.
This is looking hilarious. The Polish Hammer
No,
from Marcin
exactly.
Gortat.
Bro, these white people have the funniest name.
This is on you because you put mad white people on this list.
Like they have those oddball names.
The Polish Hammer.
All right, we get a little bit of swagger here. The Polish Hammer.
This
The
is a
way
solid B.
The way he threw down some of those dunks back in the day, very justified.
No, he was
Yes.
given hammer for sure. This is definitely a B tier. It's accurate.
We might have to go A. You know, he's putting on for his country. I like that. We're talking. You guys just got on me for representation and for the whole spectrum. We got to put the Polish up there too. Shout out to the Polish,
Exactly.
man.
He's knocking in nails with those rolls to the rim. Giving that Polish hammer. We can go B.
Put the hammer up top.
Okay, we can get off topic of white people. The Great Wall for Yao Ming.
Oh man.
See, it's a cool nickname, but I need to know who came up with it. That's just it. That's just it.
What is the race of origin
Exactly.
of the creator of this nickname?
Who gave him that? Because I know his mother didn't call him that. So I don't know where this
Which
started.
announcer said it first? Was it in China or was it
Was it in Houston?
Jeff Van Gundy?
These are real questions we're legitimately asking here.
I'll give it an A because it's cool, but I feel like I'm towing a fine line here saying that.
We might have to go C just until we get clarification.
Yeah, let's put it in C. I don't want to put it
Let's
in
go
A.
F. We stand against stereotypes.
Yeah,
We
the Great
stand
Wall
against
is kinda
low-hanging
crazy.
fruit.
The Great Wall is kind of crazy.
Okay. The anomaly for Jason Tatum.
I'm sorry. Put the Great Wall up to D. Put the
D.
anomaly in F.
Yeah, this is terrible. The anomaly.
It's kind of cool.
Stop it. This is what happens with everything. Somebody says something, we laugh at it. And then you start saying it ironically, and then you start saying it unironically. In 3 years, if I hear you call this man the anomaly, I will be upset.
The anomaly does it again. Get out of
That's so
here.
dope.
Ew.
Listen, did it start from a place of corniness online on Twitter? Absolutely. Did that corny motherfucker cook? Yes, it's a good nickname.
I'm not calling you that. What is your government name? I'm not calling you the anomaly. You are Jason. I'm not doing that.
Can you imagine Jason Tatum referring to himself as, yo, what's up? I'm the anomaly. What the fuck out of my face?
Jason
What are you
Tatum.
talking
I'm the anomaly. They call me the anomaly.
Stop
Your
it.
name is Jason, brother.
You are a father. You are not the anomaly. No.
That'd be a great nickname if it was for Giannis. Giannis is a fucking anomaly. God forbid if he gave it to Victor Wembanyama. That's an anomaly.
Stop
don't
it.
Don't let the swaggerlessness of Tatum hold you down. It's a good nickname.
No.
It's the
We're
nickname
putting it in
itself,
F.
too. The anomaly.
Yeah,
That's dope.
It's about the pairing though. Like you can't give white chocolate to just any white person and it works. It has a very high success rate, but you can't just give it to any white person and it's S tier.
That's true. You can't give white chocolate to fucking Mason Plumlee for what? Well,
Yeah.
actually, in some lights you could because he's done some swag.
Okay.
Some super cool shit.
That's the real thing. Who's the white person who you cannot give white? You can't give Grayson Allen white chocolate.
Oh God.
Hell nah. You can't give it to him. You can't give it to Luke Cornett either. Hell nah. He's the complete opposite of that.
No,
Could you really?
no.
You seen
Luke
him do some
Cornett
cool
cannot be white chocolate.
I mean, like it's ironic, but like,
I guess. I mean, maybe, but it's only because like him as the personality, not necessarily him and like what he does.
this is such a racialized segment. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I really wasn't
Not
supposed to
intended.
get this place.
Hey, every now and then we post a video and there's some people in the comments like, why do they make everything about race? Like you listen to a podcast with two black dudes and a Mexican. I wonder why. I wonder why we talk about
But
race.
if I said it, then it would be an issue.
Yes.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yes.
If I tier listed black players, shut the fuck up.
Say, go ahead.
Yeah, do it.
Tier list. Tier list. of
Start
black
your own
players.
podcast. Draft you some black players. Go for it.
Triple dog dare you.
Say the TikTok hook. Go for it. Next up, we got The Matrix for Sean Marion.
Hard.
Hard as fuck.
S tier?
Shit, I
Not
didn't want to
S-tier?
put it above S tier. Whatever that is.
Not S tier. Not S tier. Because I do think that like S
We're
tier.
reserving that for the Red Mamba.
Yeah, S tier has to be a combination of like when you say your real name and then you have the quotations, and then you have that nickname. I don't think you don't ever say like Sean the Matrix Marion. You can say like, oh, that is the Matrix, but it's not like that. It's not.
We should say that
Okay.
though, because that flows though with his last name, Sean the Matrix Marion. It's hard. Why don't we do that?
Oh, we just don't talk about Sean Marion that often, but I suppose you can.
Yeah,
I guess we don't.
he's not in discourse like that.
Very underrated
Okay.
first time.
We can go A tier. What about Flash for Dwayne Wade?
S tier. This is where you can say like that's.
I mean,
fine.
same logic. Nobody calls him that in like a everyday regard.
No, but you can call him. But if I say Flash, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, that is.
I know who the Matrix
true.
is too.
It's not the same way. It's not the same.
I think it is. I think it actually is the same way.
No, it is. No, it's not. It's just.
It's not like we said D Wade. Like Flash is like not his most common moniker.
What is?
D Wade.
His name? What do you?
Like yeah, people call him like yeah, literally. Some people get first name nicknames. So you get the initial plus last name.
What
Like
do you mean? Like
that's
his
what he's
moniker.
referred
That
to
is his
as.
government name. You took 4 letters out of it. That's not like.
And that's the difference, obviously. Like you said S tier should be people who people call Jason Williams white chocolate like that's his name. Like that's his government name. Like
People say that way more than white chocolate.
Okay, an abbreviation is not the
People
same
say Flash
as
more
a
than white
nickname.
chocolate.
People say white chocolate more than Flash for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm saying like S tier from your logic is for when that becomes your main name. Flash is not Dwayne Wade's main name.
An abbreviation is not the same as a nickname, though.
There's different ways
Yeah,
to get S
what
tier, is
the
what
fuck
you
is
mean,
that?
basically, Donovan. Different ways to get to S tier. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we can't say
Okay,
that.
neither here nor there. It's a stupid ass argument. I don't care.
It's cool as fuck. It's just
It's a
cool
great
as fuck.
nickname.
Yeah,
We
it's
go
hard to
S
say.
tier. Last but not least, the dream for Hakeem Olajuwon.
Obviously, S tier. People actually call him just Dream.
This is why I was going saying the Flash should be A, because S tier is a name like the Dream. He's Hakeem the Dream. Like the Dream Shake, it becomes synonymous with his name. That's an easy S tier.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, Flash doesn't got the same aura as the Dream.
I
What?
agree. No, genuinely, it does not have the same aura as the Dream.
Actually,
Donovan loves the Flash.
actually, yeah.
Mythical.
Dream is very high up. But
Yeah.
don't
Maybe-
think I didn't just see you drop it down to A. Stop that. You try to slip it in. I see it.
Hey yo,
Pause. Hey, yo, my bad.
Slip
That
what
was
in?
crazy. That was crazy.
that was crazy.
That
Like
was
I didn't see it? I
That
don't
was
want to do
crazy.
in person anymore.
My bad.
Don't think I didn't see that. You tried to. Not only is it A, yo,
I'm
it's
trying to
a,
slip.
My
That's
bad.
an
my
allegation.
Bad. My bad. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we can't do in person anymore, bro.
you're
That's
putting some. Never mind. I was gonna say never mind.
Yeah.
So that's our tier list.
So next
S tier, we
video.
got white chocolate.
My bad.
Next thing we're gonna do. What do I do next? Let's do a little bit of keep four, cut four.
Woohoo.
This is a new segment we've been doing a lot where I've been having you guys. I name 8 players. You guys, keep 4 and cut 4. Today we're gonna do it with teams that have won championships before.
Okay.
You got to decide if you're gonna put them in the 4 they get kept, 4 they get cut. Just based on how impressive they are or how good the team was.
Yeah.
Bet, let's do it.
It was a big old yawn.
Damn, I'm
Sleepy ass.
yawning. I'm not even sleepy, bro.
So first off, the 2023 Denver Nuggets.
Should we keep them? I think Jokic is one of the greatest players of all time.
Yes, but
Supporting
I do
cast
think that
fits
they
him
are.
really well.
But I do think that they are beatable by a lot of championship teams. Like, I don't think that they're an S tier championship team. I don't think that they are an A tier. They might be B.
So it sounds like they are keepable. They're like at the bottom 4 of keep.
Do you want to put them at 4?
Probably. It's Jokic,
I need
man.
you to sound more confident about this
I know.
pick.
It's Jokic. It's kind of obvious to me. It's not. It's a team thing. I agree. I know, but like the core around him is, bro. They fit so well.
sounds like you guys want to keep them.
I want to keep him personally.
You know what? Last time I think I kind of messed it up because I was doing the overrated, underrated. I'll let you get this. We will keep the 23 Denver Nuggets.
Love it. Now the reasoning is dumb because they're championship level teams and every single one of them have an all time great player. But I'll listen. I respect it.
The core is great alongside Jokic.
The 1998 Chicago Bulls, last
See,
dance.
We got to keep them.
We have to keep. We got to do it.
Where do you want to go? Does it
No.
matter?
I guess at 3. We'll keep them at 3.
Yeah. Order barely matters. Okay. Listen, you're not gonna cut the
We're
one of the
not
greatest players of all
cutting
time.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
We
it's not
can't do
happening.
that.
Okay.
No words are needed.
The second best player to ever live? Of course not. The 2020 Lakers.
See, that's the debate. And we've had this debate before between the 2020 Lakers and the 23 Nuggets. I think,
You already kept one.
and I would like to keep the 2020 Lakers, but we've
Damn.
done what we've done. We will cut them.
Yeah, three
Yeah,
shake
we have no
keeps would be
choice.
3 shake keeps would be devious. You'd be setting yourself up.
Yeah, we got to cut him.
Yeah,
We
for
gotta
straight
cut him.
failure.
I'm just happy that it's a
What?
conversation between the 23 Nuggets and the 2020 Lakers. It's a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. No one's gonna freak out for you cutting 2020. That's okay.
Yeah.
2004 Pistons.
Cut.
Yeah.
See ya.
That's an easy cut.
Yeah. And again, people always get mad when you disrespect the 2004 Pistons. Get over it. Let's look at who's on this list.
Yeah, if we listen, they're a fun team, fun era in terms of looking back on it. Y'all wouldn't want to watch the 2004 Pistons play. You guys wouldn't enjoy that right now.
You're not putting them above the 98 Bulls. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's leave them boys out.
All right, so we're at 2-2 right now.
Yep. 1994 Rockets.
1994 Rockets.
Hakeem.
See, we have to cut them.
You got a better gauge on this, Donovan.
We have to cut them. Because they kind of have like the same archetype of the 23 Nuggets.
Yeah.
But I would say that the 23 Nuggets supporting cast is better than the 94 Rockets supporting cast, so we will cut them.
Simple math. Let's cut them.
That's a good logic. Okay. That's fair. 2 keeps, 1 cut left. Be careful now. The 2016 Cavs.
We have to keep them.
Historic team.
Historic things. Yeah, if you have a team that knocked off 73-9 and you have peak LeBron James, you have to keep that team.
I agree.
Okay. Next up, the 2022 Warriors.
We can cut
the fuck up.
We can cut them.
You sure? You have 1 spot left in each.
Yeah.
I
This is one of the worst championship teams over the last 10 years, and I could say that confidently. Wait.
I guess so. 10 years isn't a long time, so sure.
Yeah, but we have to cut them. We were talking about Andrew Wiggins out here saving the finals.
It's honestly very similar to the 94 Houston team where it's really one guy going sicko mode.
But shout out to Steph, got his crowning achievement.
One of the more impressive championships for sure.
In terms of one player's legacy, this is the top of the line.
So
but compared to other teams, not so much.
Yeah.
Last but not least, your final keep, the number 1 spot that you saved, the 1963 Boston Celtics.
See, they were dominating everybody in the middle of a dynasty. They were winning like 8 straight at that point. I am okay with that. Shout out to the homie, Bill Russell. You know what I'm saying?
How many NBA
Shout
teams
out
are
to
around
1960s
back then?
basketball.
Who
8.
cares? You won.
Like 8. Okay. You're right. I can't. They won. We won 2.
What is the point that you're trying to make about the 63 Celtics?
Did we got to say it?
No, we don't. I just respect the pass. Shout out to 63 basketball.
Shout out to 63 basketball.
Exactly.
Next thing we're gonna do.
Somebody had to.
We're gonna go back on hoopgoat.com, a site that we've recently found that we did the blind tier list last time when we did those legends and put them in a blind tier list. Today we're gonna do their start bench cut game. You know how it works. They're gonna show us 3 players. Mo is blowing fucking missiles out of his nose.
But they couldn't tell.
Yeah. So they're gonna show us 3 NBA players. We got to start bench cut them. You guys know how this works. Rather simple.
Yep.
First off, we got Clyde Drexler, Andrew Wiggins, and Mitch Richmond.
Y'all don't say anything. I have the perfect answer. We are going to start Clyde Drexler. We are going to sit Mitch Richmond. We are cutting Andrew Wiggins. If you guys disagree, you guys are wrong.
Fair enough. You got it. You're confident as shit. I'm not going to be the one to argue Andrew Wiggins over Mitch Richmond, so you can have it.
Let's do it.
77% of people agree.
Okay.
Hey, look at that.
People's
Shout out to Donovan ISO. 1% put Wiggins number 1, Richmond number 2, and Clyde number 3.
I bet that 1%.
So 1% of people
we're just doing
read
that for
the list
research.
backwards.
We're just doing that for research.
Okay. Next up, Tim Hardaway, Derrick Rose, and Isaiah Thomas. Now let's do MVP Derrick Rose. Everybody at their 1-year peak.
Cool. Isaiah
Still
Thomas
putting
start?
Isaiah starting.
Is there any debate there? Is there any like if you put MVP D Rose on those Pistons team, you don't think they could be just as good or better?
No.
I'm gonna lean towards Isaiah.
Fair enough. I agree. I just want to start discourse, and apparently nobody else wants to hear it. Derrick Rose, you're benched. Tim Hardaway, you're cut.
There we go.
Like
73%
73% agreed. Now these are all super cookie cutter so far. Let's see if we can get a controversial one. Nikola. Ooh, this is for MVP 1, 2, and 3. Nikola Jokic, Giannis, and Shai.
Right now.
Is this year.
This season.
Is number 1.
Shai's 1.
Okay. No, he's not.
What?
For this year?
Jokic is still a better player this year.
Are
talking
we
about
just,
MVP.
Oh, okay.
This
So
is not
you guys want
best
to listen
player.
to that? Do you want to listen to that? Do you want to do it based off MVP rankings, or do you want to do it on who's good?
Well, throughout the entirety of the thing, we were talking about.
Yes, I'm saying for the TikTok, you want to change it up? Like, for people at home, are they going to be, oh, this one's different?
We're at a crossroads right now.
Now let's do it. Let's do it here. It's only because
It's interesting. We're going to start
I
conversation.
want to give Shai the top spot.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's why.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
This one says MVP 1, 2, and 3, so let's treat it like an MVP ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So as of today, Shai's MVP.
Yes.
He's easily number one.
There's no argument for Jokic having his best offensive season, shooting 47% from 3.
No,
Don't
don't shake your
care.
head too hard, Donovan. Shake it a
Don't
little
care.
bit. There is argument.
There's
But
an
it's not strong
argument, but I will admit it's a weak one. If the season ends today, it's Shai. Giannis, I'm sorry, you're once again third in MVP. It's like every single year you draw the short stick.
Wow. Okay.
48%. Because I think some people didn't treat this like MVP ballot. That's probably the difference.
Interesting.
So if some people didn't treat it like an MVP ballot, then a lot of people think that Giannis
is the third worst player
is
here?
third worst player. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do think that. That checks out to me from what I feel like the common sentiment is right now.
See, and those are the bucket
Really?
watchers only, Donovan. This is where I have issues with that terminology. The game's about a bucket. That's where I have to slow down sometimes.
Giannis gets a lot of buckets. Like people just don't like how it looks, but he gets a fuck ton of buckets.
Yeah, he scores, but he doesn't get buckets. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
He scores, but he doesn't get buckets.
Do his buckets have aura? Yes or no? No.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the difference between like listening and hearing, right? It's just
Oh my
it's
God.
a small thing.
See, you
It's a
can either
square
wear
rectangle type of
clothes
vibe.
or you put that shit on. He puts that shit on.
Okay. JJ Redick, Ray Allen, and Damian Lillard.
First of all,
Why did I set my
Ray
coach
looks
up like this?
first of all, why the hell is Ray
What?
Allen this dark?
Yeah, he looks
I
like
thought that
goddamn
was
Anthony
Anthony
Edwards.
I was like, what?
Ray, what happened? Oh my god!
He's
What the
never
fuck?
been this dark in his life.
That's Jesus.
That's Anthony Edwards.
Shuttlesworth. What the fuck?
All right, so they set my coach up. Obviously, we're cutting JJ Redick.
This is hilarious. JJ Redick at what?
We're starting Damian Lillard, right?
Yeah,
Sure,
I don't
yeah.
think there's much of a conversation between those two.
Like, shout out Ray Allen. I don't think the best version of Ray Allen's touching what peak Dame did.
Where did they get this picture?
That's the default picture when you Googled Ray Allen. That's the one I've used too. I always brighten it up though when I edit.
That is hilarious. He looks bald as shit in this too.
They didn't know.
52% agree with us. 46% put Ray Allen over Dame. Ring culture, man. I hate this fucking game.
And the 48% that put Ray Allen at
They
number
all
one
said
thought that was
JJ
Michael
last.
Jordan.
Okay, next one. Chris Webber, DeMarcus Cousins, and Julius Randle.
Julius Randle, go home, man. You can
Why
get
is he
cut,
here?
Julius.
Julius. It's all good.
Yeah.
You can go home. We're good. DeMarcus Cousins, Chris Webber's got to start, right? Chris Webber has to start, right? Like that's pretty easy. I mean, he's been top 5 in MVP. He's averaging efficient 28. He's a better defender than DeMarcus Cousins. What does DeMarcus do better? Growl.
It's getting ridiculous out here. It's
getting ridiculous.
out here.
Nah, Chris Webber is definitely better for his generation.
But was he ever a problem the same way that DeMarcus Cousins was? I don't think you understand.
Like, we really think about it. Was he an issue?
No. Was he a conundrum the same way that DeMarcus Cousins was? I don't think so. I'll put DeMarcus Cousins at the start. No, I'm playing. No, it's fine.
That's
It's
too
fine.
damn
It's fine.
bad.
As much as I love DeMarcus, he has to sit this one out.
Yep, 61% of people agree. Next one. Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Wilt Chamberlain.
Finally.
Donovan, stop.
I wasn't going to say it.
Who do we start? If it's peak for peak. I guess we start 2001 Shaq over Hakeem, but I don't feel good about it.
The basketball guy in me wants to be like, yo, I'm taking Hakeem. There's so much going on with this game, so many layers to it.
But is that too
Shaq
woke?
is Shaq.
Is it just Shaq?
Yeah, is it too woke? That's right. That's what I'm heading towards right now.
Go ahead.
Donovan, you're allowed to speak now.
Yeah.
Unmute.
Thank you.
Sick 'em.
All right. Crazy. Crazy. Sick'em is wild. Let's go Shaq. Let's start Shaq.
Do you believe that?
Okay.
Sometimes. But not
about
all the
now?
time.
We're gonna cut Wilt. We're gonna cut the 100-point game.
I mean,
Most athletic player of all time.
what game?
100-point.
That never happened.
What do you mean?
It's a conspiracy.
InfoWars, Donovan Smoot,
It's a conspiracy. What
Alex Jones vibes going on in this chat right now.
they faked it.
What do you say to the people who were there live in attendance watching the game?
They not alive no more.
All right, we're gonna bench Akeem. We're gonna cut Will.
Will's 100-point game only as good as the last person who's alive remembers it.
Like, what's that sentence? If a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, did it happen?
That's good.
If Will scores 100 dunks and nobody's around to say it, did it happen? Don't think so. Last but not least, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Love, and Bam Adebayo. So obviously we're starting Kevin Garnett.
Yes.
Listen, Bam, if it's this year only, Bam is getting cut with a quickness.
It's all
Bam
time.
is just clear. It's all time. Even Bam is out. Like, I'm just taking
He's
Kevin
getting
Love
cut.
in every single light.
Yeah.
Kevin Love, welcome to the bench.
Like, the
91%
idea-
agree.
Wow. Damn, Bam, that's crazy.
This set him up so hard.
Yeah. He just shouldn't be in these conversations.
He
Yeah, it's
put
tough.
him up against like one of the better power forwards of all time, and then
I
just
know.
Bam Adebayo.
Just a dude.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
man.
Right now,
You're cool.
especially
You're a good dude, but you are a dude.
that one block they had in the 2020
Woo.
Eastern Conference Finals. Memories.
Special.
Yep. All right. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to list some NBA players right now, and I want you to grade how well their first half of the season has gone.
Okay.
So,
First half.
based on your expectations, what they're supposed to be doing, how much of impact of winning, whatever it may be, grade their season so far.
Let's do it.
Russell Westbrook.
A+.
A++, bro. Based
Yeah,
on
the
where
bar
his
was in the
expectations
fucking basement. So he's been a very good productive player that's helping that team fill a void of ball handling they need. To go from we expect nothing to you're pretty good, A+.
They were trying to kick Brody out of the league. And now he's out here being very productive on a team that now has championship expectations once again. It was kind of muddy for a second with the Nuggets, but Russell Westbrook saved the Denver Nuggets from mediocrity in 2024/25. We love to see it.
He's a hero.
Where do you think the Denver Nuggets will be without Russell Westbrook?
Probably like one spot down from where they are now.
Still, one spot up. Shout out to Russell Westbrook.
He's an uplifting figure.
Steph Curry.
Oh, man. He hasn't particularly
I am
been
now
fantastic.
pushing the mic away.
So the team gets an F, and I want to be like, it's not his fault. It's not Steph. He has no help. He's also kind of cooked a little bit.
You can talk about his athletic decline a little bit. I was like, it's okay. No one's gonna.
They ask him to do too much. He's also doing too little. Both are true. I don't know how to gauge it. He's kind of washed, but it's not his fault.
I mean, two things could be true at once, bro. He's a little washed. Even with his washed age, he's still like one of the 13 best players in the league. But still,
Yeah. He's a little washed, but they make him look a lot of washed because they give him the most bullshit roster to work with.
I will give him a B.
I give him a C because it can't be good. It's not a passing grade, but I'm not going F like I am for the whole team.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. It's not his fault. You don't want to say it, I'll say it. They don't want to trade for anybody. They're setting him up for failure.
But also, he's fucking towing the company line now, being like, yeah, I think we should rock with what we got. We shouldn't do anything dumb and mortgage.
Well, if you were about to get 10% in the team, wouldn't you do the same thing?
Sure, but then I would hope somebody else calls me a bootlicker because I would say, well, I guess you better be happy to be washed then. All right, next up, Jalen Green.
This is
Keep in mind, he's been decent. He hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been the worst Jalen Green year.
He's
The team's
better.
good. He's not selling them. B minus?
He might be B.
I was going to say B+.
Oh, that's too far. B plus
Yeah,
means
yeah,
like you have shown like a certain level of consistency. Hasn't been that level just yet, but B is very solid. B minus.
He's defending better. He's been a legitimately great interior scorer. 3-point shooting is still hit or miss. He's made improvements.
He's taken steps. And
A couple.
Yeah, he's taken steps.
I want to see
from
2 or
this-
3 more, but there's a couple steps.
But like the stuff that you would want to see from a guy who is his height and as athletic, bare minimum, just be good at the rim. He's finally doing that. So like you do have to
True.
give him a little bit of credit there. And so I like to see it.
Yeah, in previous years, he's been underwhelming as a rim finisher despite being crazy athletic and underwhelming as a shooter. Now it's just the shooting that's underwhelming and the passing and the defense and the rebounding and half court IQ and the help side defense.
Yeah.
But the rim finishing is fantastic.
Okay.
67% on the year. It actually went down from where it was earlier, but it's still 67.
Yeah, I'll
That's
go,
so
I'll go
great.
B+.
Okay.
Cool. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
A plus,
A plus, bro.
Plus.
All right, we get it.
Plus.
Plus.
You could add
Plus.
another couple of
And
pieces if you want.
ultimately plus.
Yeah. There's not enough. There's not enough A's to give
And
out
there is the plus of it all.
for his season. You know how like normally you would grade stuff on a scale of 0 to 100. You have to give him a 200 out of 100. He's gonna win MVP. He's that guy. He's doing everything that you want him to do. He scored
good
30
plays.
efficiently. He's defending very well. Team at the top of the conference.
It'd be
Doesn't
hard
have
to understand when my jaw keep blocking.
doesn't have his top white boy. His other second hand man doesn't know how to shoot or create anymore. Everything's on him.
There's not much
200
that you
out
can
of
ask out
100.
of him, bro. He's done everything he can.
200. There we go. He breaks our scale. Like those back in like high school, people did like for it to be honest on a rate. They put BMS. BMS. That's our grade.
I never seen that before. You got a BMS before. That's what that tells me. Or you giving a BMS out.
Neither here nor there. Next one.
Woo!
Jalen Brunson.
Bro, the demon. Demon in the Killeen streets.
Jalen Brunson.
A.
Yeah,
what
A
else
plus.
could you
A
ask
plus.
for him?
genuinely underrated. Like the first couple games were kind
No,
of.
the most underrated player in the league. Like not even just genuinely underrated. The
Look
most.
at this.
Bro, the first 2 weeks of the season, the whole NBA community just decided Cat's their best player and just like ran with that for the whole year.
It's insane.
Jalen is still a top 12 player in the NBA. He's still better than Cat. He's still the driving force. I don't understand why Cat gets all the praise and Jalen's just the guy.
Big bodega,
you need to-
that's why. Cool
Every
nicknames.
time I decide to say something nice for one of your guys' player, you make me immediately regret it.
Look at this. This is fantastic. Yeah, A plus. It's all. It's
Never
awesome.
mind. You suck. Hit the weight room. Get out of here. Cat better.
He's going to the playoffs, and he's scoring 40 a game every single game, just like he did last year.
He's so good, man. He is he's just diet Shea. The way he can be a solid passer and just insane isolation scorer and create for others. Like, he's wildly underappreciated.
He is, bro, he is inevitable. That's what it is in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to come in anybody's building at any time of the day, any day, and just do what he does, give you 30, 5, 6 assists, and shoot like 45% from three. He's ridiculous.
This is my captain.
And it's just weird because I guess it's because he started off as a second round pick and he's like not athletic and like doesn't like look the part that people don't treat him like he's like a superstar. Like we're still at the point when he first became an all-star at the Knicks where it's like, oh, nice, good for him. He's like leveled up, you know? But like he's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah. I don't know
Look at
why he
that.
doesn't get that. I think it's his ability to have like not much aura, and on top of that too, I think it really just is that. He doesn't have
Ability
real
to
aura.
have not much aura.
Yeah.
It's just a kind way of saying you think he's lame.
Yeah, I think that's the real thing about it. Like, he doesn't have no cool celebration. I mean, you keep on doing this, Donovan, but let's be real. Like, no one is
Like labeling a downside as an ability to have is hilarious. His ability to be whack as fuck makes nobody want to watch him.
What?
It's uncanny.
That's
bro.
not even
It's
true though.
uncanny.
He's cool. It's not even true.
To who? Cool to who?
I feel like he's cool overall. I think he has enough aura. He's not unmarketable. He's not whack.
You're just mad because he stole Trae Young's chain as
True.
the guy in the Eastern Conference.
True.
That's why. That's why.
And
you're
that was
mad.
a fake chain. You finna see why
Who
it's
scores
fake
better?
once April comes.
Jalen. Whose team is better? Jalen. Whose celebration is better? Jalen. Whose podcast is better?
Now you know
Jalen.
that's a goddamn. Okay, he got him on the podcast game.
Yeah,
You're right about that.
yeah.
But
Shut
when it
up.
comes to the celebration, you're out of your mind if you think no one's doing this on a consistent basis, bro.
Yeah,
You
because
know
Trae
it's not
Young.
gonna do it.
he-
I
listen,
see
Jalen-
soccer players go ahead and do it's too cold in here, bro. Soccer players, global. No one's doing this.
Do you think Trae Young influenced the world? Are you a dummy?
he's influenced more people than Jalen Brunson? I guarantee you for sure.
The entire city of New York has been influenced by Jalen Brunson. What
That's
are
why
we
the
talking
city's
about?
dog shit.
What are we talking about here? You live there.
It's trash. I'm trying to get out. You think I want to live here by choice?
I'm starting to leave Chicago in like 2 months. Okay.
Yeah, you got
A
it.
plus though. A plus season.
I mean, you don't
Next
got
up.
it, but it's whatever.
DeAndre Ayton.
See, I guess.
C. I got your fucking minds. This is an F.
I mean, my expectations are just whatever for DeAndre Ayton. I didn't expect him to
Maybe
do much.
it's my fault.
You were the highest on DeAndre Ayton out of all of us,
Maybe
so
it's
I
my
expect
fault.
you to be F.
Maybe it's my fault. I've been an Ayton apologist my whole life. I've been bred through the battlegrounds of defending DeAndre Ayton until this year. He broke me. Every time I watch a Portland Trailblazers play, I want to turn that shit off because he's not trying. It's embarrassing. It's gross. I wish I'd never said anything good about him before. F.
Yeah, it's just another DeAndre Ayton year for me.
Yeah.
This is
It's
just
not
what
though. He's getting worse.
This is what
Dude.
I've been peeping. You could have seen this coming had you listened to us.
Exactly.
But
Sure,
apologize for
but
this.
it's gotten worse and worse every year, and he's reached the point where
You should have known it
The
was going to
ship
get
is sunk.
worse.
Dude, during an interview years ago,
Embrace
during
hate.
his rookie year, he talked about how he was simply focused on getting his second contract. He got that. What else more is there to get? How can you believe in a player
Exactly.
being great?
He
when, like,
accomplished all his goals.
in his
He's
rookie year,
done
he's just like,
trying.
yeah, I just want that bag, man. You expect him to escalate, elevate, bro? No, he's playing
Next
fake
player.
basketball.
LaMelo Ball.
Damn, this is so tough. He's injured again.
Story
That was
of his
our number
life.
one
He got a lot
concern.
of buckets. It wasn't efficient. They weren't winning. He got hurt again. The buckets are real cool. Everything else isn't so cool. I don't know how to grade it.
Yeah, but he gets to take 35 shots a night, and that's kind of
Good for him.
it's kind of a plus.
It's kind of his MO.
I kind of like that.
Dude, his influence is crazy though too. Like, players love him, fans love him. They want to do what he does.
But you can't.
Who wants to do what he does, player wise? Jordan Poole.
Other
No,
big
just a couple-
ballers? What are you talking
Nah,
about?
dude? Just
Like,
a couple months ago when he did that like stupid ass crossover at the top of the key, we saw like clips of Derek White try to mimic what he was doing. So other players like fuck with him heavy. They're like, yeah, this guy's
Okay.
dope.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take Derek White decide to cross over like he did.
either way,
It's aura.
I will go B.
Yeah,
I'll
B's
go
fair.
B too because
Yeah.
The peak was
done
really
what
high.
he's done. Yeah, exactly. He's shown us his abilities. They may not have been used in the greatest way possible, but he's shown to us that he has it in him.
All I'm saying is I'm getting a little bit worried. I will not elaborate.
It's a Hornets,
Next up.
man. They're dog shit.
Cade Cunningham.
A plus. A plus. Cade Cunningham, we came into the season being a little bit worried because he was in a terrible situation. And now people are like, yes, he is an all-star. He is number one. The debate right now is Cade versus Paolo. Cade Cunningham has risen up the ranks of
You know
NBA
it's an A+.
discourse. It's
You know
A+.
it's a great season for a young player because they go from being overlooked and under talked about, underappreciated, and now you got people saying crazy shit like he's a top 10 player in the world. When the pendulum swings back so far the other way, that's how you know it's a successful year. You have made it. You're on the map. You are a superstar.
When
Wow,
Shaq,
bro.
when Shaq is out here like, oh yeah, this man is an all-star. You know Shaq don't be watching Detroit Pistons basketball like that. This man is tapped into Cade Cunningham.
We got people on
season.
TV saying maybe we should put him in the MVP talks. Too rich for realistic. Like that's too much.
Yeah.
But listen, you're on the map. It's a W.
Wow. Spacing, Cade Cunningham, you have been granted it one time in your career, and now you're an all-star. Congratulations.
And it was funny too. His team still sucks. It's just not the worst in the league by far. Like they're
Yeah.
still 26th in defense. The shooters are still mid. They can shoot a little bit. So like this is just a taste. Pretty soon we're gonna get the whole load when he gets a real good team around him.
Wow.
So next player, Jimmy Butler.
F. This is an F season.
It's not great.
He's been suspended like 3 times at this point.
It's a lot of games.
Like,
He's lost several $1 million. It's not fantastic. It's not what you want to see when you come into the year.
they took the whimsy away from him. He didn't even show up to media day in like a crazy haircut.
Oh, that's how we should have known some shit was up. Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler without the antics is a king without his crown. That's how you know there's trouble brewing at home. Tough scene.
From before games were being
Yeah.
played, it hasn't been great. I have to go F.
It is an F. It is an F.
Mm-hmm.
No one even knows how to like rank him as a player because he ain't playing no like real basketball or serious basketball or whatever
Mm-hmm.
case may be.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, James Harden.
A.
I'm
Well-
going like A minus.
Yeah. You can go A minus. I like that better. I like that better than
I think
just
it's
clear
fair.
A.
I
His
think people are
efficiency
kinda
still
gassing
isn't
how-
there. But
Yeah,
the
people are kind of
playmaking
gassing how
is-
good he is.
Yeah.
Like, he is sub 40% from the field. That does matter.
And then on
But
top of that,
for
too,
what
he's turning the fuck over the ball
Yeah.
as well, like crazy.
So, like, people are gassing how good he is. But in terms of his responsibility and what the team needs from him, he's doing it. And the team is way better than anybody expected. He's a huge part of that on the offensive side. I'm cool going there.
It's James Harden's world over there. And Norman Powell, Zubac, and I guess Kawhi Leonard now are just eating off of it.
Yeah.
Dude, that team is good. I don't know if y'all... Yeah, we'll talk about it again next week, I guess. That team is good. I don't know if y'all are ready to have the conversation. They're fucking good.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard, season high 27. Donovan
They're
finna hate
fucking
me
good.
next week. Ooh-wee.
Clipper fans have been they've been on me all week because they found a tweet that I sent out a couple months ago where I was like, the Clippers deciding to prioritize Kawhi over PG is like it's a terrible decision and it's one of like the worst of the decade. And now they're like oh, look what's happening, I have
they're
not
gonna say that
responded to
now.
anybody.
Listen, it's easy to be up as a Kawhi fan when things are good.
Yes.
Real easy. Count your fucking days. Okay, next up. Wait, is the last one? Oh, no. That is the last one. Damn, that was 10. That was fast.
Nice.
Okay. So, last segment we're going to do today before we get out of here. Round out this 3 hours of yap. You two are going to play a little game where you go against each other. I have a category in mind. I want you two to name a player from that category as many times as you can until one of you messes up.
Okay.
Okay, what's the category?
Category is NBA role players who have a championship. So when I say go, Donovan, you go first, then Mo. You go back and forth, naming an NBA role player with a championship until one of you messes up. And you
going first?
Messing up means say somebody who doesn't have a championship, or you stumble and pause and like
Take two.
adequate amount of time, which you can't say anything.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
got to be firing.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool.
So 3, 2, 1, Donovan, go.
Aaron Gordon,
Luke Cornett,
Derek Fisher,
Derek White,
Okay.
Peyton
Okay.
Pritchard.
Al Horford. Yes, he has a championship. I can't believe that. That's so amazing. I just remembered that. Wow.
He's a role player. It's okay. Ron Artest,
Matthew Dellavedova,
Sasha Vujacic,
Andrew Verjao.
Patrick McCall.
Andrew Verjao he's on the Warriors team, wasn't he?
I think they won in 2017 and he
Yeah.
won.
Anderson
he-
Verjao was on the team.
You can double check it. I might be wrong.
Because he I think he was like on the Cavs earlier that year and then got bought out and then went to the Warriors. And so
he
there was
has
like-
multiple. He has 2017. Yeah.
all right, cool.
Okay, keep going.
Championship. Whose turn is it?
It's on you.
Oh, okay.
I just said Patrick McCall.
Okay, cool.
Mm.
RJ Jefferson.
Norris Cole.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to say Chris Anderson.
Mike Miller.
Ooh, okay. Ray Allen.
What's he on this one? Horace Grant. I said it before you guys did it. I said Horace Grant.
Okay, we'll give it to you. I yelled over you, but I'll give that one to you. Mo, keep going.
Trevor Ariza.
Steve Kerr.
Dwight Howard.
John Paxson.
JaVale McGee.
Kuzma.
Leandro Barbosa.
I'm blanking.
I'm
blanking.
Donovan loses. We gave you a redo. You're out of there.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
This is the first time Mo won this game.
It is. Damn it.
Through the power of the crayon-eating gods, I said strike Isaac and Donovan down if I don't get it. And they didn't want me to strike you guys down. Your life was on the line. Don't thank me. Thank the crayons.
So strike me down today.
All right, man. And that's our episode today. If people are still here, what should they comment?
Strike me down today.